Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Happy Friday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and hot topics. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today. So, and before we get to saying tea, if you can please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And some of the topics we have coming up today. Sam Michelle Gellar is speaking out and confirming that the Buffy reboot is in the works. So we're going to talk about that. She dropped that Instagram post yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, I have an update on the Jonathan Majors Kang report that we talked about the other day. We also are going to speak on the Michael Jackson biopic, and there's rumors that it's going to be delayed to 2026. Halsey is coming to Chappell Roan's defense, and also Chappell Roan is challenging the guy who wrote that op-ed. And we'll talk about what the challenge is. And then also there's a story going around about Taylor Swift feeling used by Blake Lively. Cardi B, people are calling her a bad friend because apparently she has a song, it actually dropped today, with Pardison Fontaine, who used to date Megan Thee Stallion, and they feel like she broke the girl code. So we're going to talk about that. There's a Britney Spears book that's coming out. It's funny, we have a memoir from her, but now somebody wants to release a book. A tabloid reporter is releasing some Britney Spears tea. Plus, we have some extra Britney stuff that we need to talk about. Apparently, she's back with the Ex-Felon. And then a name I didn't think I'd be bringing up in a long time, but everybody been asking where he's been at. Fonzworth Bentley. We got to talk about him because Chaba from Making the Band that was in Making the Band, is spilling tea about Fonzworth and said Fonzworth is a thief. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, the Prince documentary that was supposed to be at Netflix has been halted indefinitely. Kim Kardashian is clapping back at Tony Hinchcliffe for calling her on at the time Brady roast, and Caitlyn Jenner grifting man hand having ass is still out here starting her mess, piggybacking off of the whole trans situation. So yeah, she's out here doing her thing, and we got to read her down to the floor yet again. Every time we got to talk about Lucilla, it always got to be on some mess? So yeah, we have that and a whole lot more. So definitely hit that like button and the subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Let me hit my banner. And now let's get into our first topic without further ado. And let's talk about this Buffy story. So the other day we broke the news that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is in fact being rebooted over at Hulu. And we hadn't heard from anybody regarding we hadn't heard from Sarah. We hadn't heard from any of the other people who possibly could be coming back to the show. So it was reported by the trade. So that's why we all took it with, at face value, because when Deadline and Variety and the Hollywood Reporter and all of those major trades are speaking on this story, then, they already vet through all of this stuff and it is true. But after, I think it was maybe a day or two later, which was yesterday, basically, Sarah Michelle Gellar took to her Instagram to let the fans know that yes, that it is confirmed that we are getting this Buffy reboot. So yes, she posted the following. It is a long one, so bear with me for a second as to read what she had to say. So she said the following. So you might have heard some news this week, but I realize you haven't heard from me. 3 years ago, I got a call from my dear friend and mentor, Gail Berman. She told me that she wanted me to sit down with Chloe Zhao to hear her take on a potential Buffy revival. I was blown away that Chloe even knew who I was, but as I've always done, I told Gail that I just didn't see a way for the show to exist again. We'd always been aligned on that, but this time I heard something different in her voice. I eventually agreed to go, mainly just to meet Chloe, and our 20-minute coffee quickly turned into a 4-hour adventure. We laughed, we cried, but mostly we both talked about how much the show means to us. While I didn't agree to anything in that meeting, I did shock myself by agreeing to continue the conversation. These conversations did, in fact, continue over the next few years, and eventually we added the incredible Nora and Lila, or is it Lila, Zuckerman to our little tribe until ultimately one day we landed on an idea. I've always listened to the fans and heard your desire to revisit Buffy and her world, but it was not something I could do unless I was sure we could get it right. This has been a long process and it's not over yet. I promise you we will only make this show if we know we can do it right. And I will tell you that we are on the path here or path there. I feel so lucky to be on this journey with these four unbelievably talented women, all of who love Buffy as much as I do and as much as you do. Thank you to all the fans who never stop asking for this. This will be for you. So I know that there's some people who are overly excited, like myself, who is a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I basically grew up watching Buffy in the 90s. It literally spoke to me in regards to a kid growing up and the whole metaphors of evil and coming of age and how all that kind of goes hand in hand. Like, for instance, when Buffy lost her virginity to Angel and Angel turns evil, which is like a metaphor of like, oh yeah, you finally give up your virginity to a guy and he turns out to be a dick. So there was metaphors in a lot of that. And we love what Joss Whedon brought in regards of the whole Buffy the Vampire Slayer situation and marrying that whole teen angst, the self-deprecating humor with the supernatural. And nobody has done it like him. We see so many shows post Buffy the Vampire Slayer that have emulated a lot of Joss's style. And I know a lot of the younger generation that's now in the entertainment industry have taken a page out of Joss Whedon's handbooks and have been inspired by doing a lot of his Whedonisms and interjecting it into their shows. Excuse me, but making it their own. So we appreciate that whole situation regarding that. Now, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this show, what other ideas they're going to come up with, who's Buffy, where Buffy fits in 2020. Well, who knows what is coming out? It's probably 2026, but where she kind of fits in that world in regards of post the past series, how she's what is she up to? Is she a mother? Is she like a former slayer now? She's a watcher who are kind of looking over potential slayers. If she is a mother, is her child have the gift and she's basically trying to teach her or whatever, and thought now that supernatural things is happening, she's taking her daughter on her wing and having to introduce her to this world, something that probably she was avoiding trying to do because that was her gift and that was her burden and that's what she had to deal with. So a lot of ideas are swimming in my brain, and I definitely I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to bring or they're going to bring to this series. I'm actually glad that Joss Whedon isn't coming back because, Joss Whedon and his problematic behind made a lot of people's lives a living hell, including we still are pissed off how he did Charisma Carpenter dirty. So if they could find a way to bring her back to the show, I think it would be great because I would love to see Cordelia get her just due. I hated the way they did her in in Angel when she got pregnant and then he went and decided to kill her off and all other stuff. So I didn't like that whole storyline of what he did to her. And then Charisma has spoken out. Excuse me. Charisma has spoken out about, the issues that she had with him and working on the show and dealing with Joss Whedon behind the scenes. And I'm glad that he's not going to be a part of it. Of course, they're going to have to pay him some money because they're using something that he created. So I'm sure he gets a percentage. But as long as he stays far away from the whole Buffy the Vampire Slayer franchise, I'm here for it. So, yeah, and I'm glad that she said she's doing it for the fans. But and look, with this, we're in a current. I feel like we're in a current situation right now where a lot of shows that we loved growing up or that existed 20 plus years ago are getting a bit of a revival. So it's like we have, the great thing is we have Buffy coming back, but we have Sex in the City with And Just Like That. Although And Just Like That, you already know when I watch that show, I'm hoping season 3 actually gets it right because I feel like they haven't figured out the tone of that show. Like Sex in the City, I love Sex in the City, but then when you watch And Just Like That, it just kind of feels like they really don't know where to go with the series. It's how these middle-aged white women in New York are trying to fit in with all these different demographics and diversity and all this other stuff. Don't make it feel like it's just some paint by numbers or we have to have all these other people in here. Figure out what they're going to do with that. At Dexter, when you have a young Dexter, they really got the show right in regards to that. So I'm really hoping that Buffy falls more or less on the Dexter side where they figured it out and they can get, they can tell a new story, but maybe not go into the full Joss Whedon situation. Give us something different. Y'all can go a little darker. The fight sequences could be a little cool. Well, be a little more ruthless and brutal, because the fight scenes back in the day, the fight scenes are still lit. There was some excellent fight sequences that I can still think of with Buffy that she's had on the show, especially her iconic scene when her and Faith was fighting, and then they ended up switching, bodies or whatever the case was. So that was a cool one. That's like one of my favorite all-time favorite fight sequences, when she and Faith went at it in the finale. Wasn't that around the time, I think, when they burned down the school and then Faith was working with the mayor? So I'm really hoping that they fall less on the Dexter side versus the Sex and the City side, because after 2 seasons, I feel like they're still trying to figure it out. And fingers crossed they got it right with season 3, because if they don't, I'm done with that franchise. But I'm gonna stick it out with Dexter, because Dexter is actually, it's on the right track so far, and I like what they're doing with the prequel. And I'm hoping that the one Resurrection that's going to come out, where Michael C. Hall's Dexter apparently is not dead, that they can correct some situations, because that last season they did with him and Harrison was a little hit and miss with me in certain situations. So I say all of this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Sarah Michelle Gellar speaking out on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and giving the official confirmation that we are getting the show? I'm excited. I'm fingers crossed that they're not going to let me down. And you know what? If it goes a little sour, what I'll do is, at least we got the old shows, which I'm currently watching on Hulu, rewatching on Hulu, among other shows that I'm rewatching. So I even noticed they dropped New York Undercover is on Hulu. So I was like, oh, I haven't seen this show in a gazillion years. I had to stop and watch that yesterday. So let me know what you guys think of this show and think of this story in the comments down below. And child, apparently I can't talk today. Robert says, hi, I'm late. I just saw your post. Oh, how y'all doing? Yeah, it was a little late because I got in late. I was doing a lot. This morning I went to go see Hard Eyes, which I absolutely loved. And then afterwards I went to the gym. Hard Eyes was funny. So if y'all want to see like a rom-com that just so happens to have a lot of brutal killings in it, definitely go and see Hard Eyes. It was co-written by Christopher Landon. That's why I was like, why do I like this movie so much? It definitely had Christopher Landon's touch all over a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the scenes and stuff. So yeah, it was good. And yeah, I went to go work out, and then I was like, when I got home, I'm sitting there trying to put a show together, and it was like, it's getting later and later and later. And I'm like, oh, I got to hurry up and put this show together because a new episode of Drag Race is on tonight. Cleveland is also in the building. How you doing? I said, boring. Yeah. I would like to see. Maybe I should have said that in the previous video. I would love to see Willow come back. I don't think Xander's going to come back because Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander, I know he was dealing with a lot of issues, like I think addiction issues and things of that nature. I don't know where he stands health wise. So I don't know if they would bring him back. I definitely believe that we need Willow back. First of all, Willow is my girl. I love Willow. We definitely need Willow back. I would like to see Angel and Spike come back, but they're gonna have to explain how the hell they look so older. How they look older. So, because vampires not supposed to age, remember? So, are they going to have them like the effects where they're going to de-age them? So they have to figure out what they're going to do in regards to that. In regards to how to age them or explain. Maybe they could be human. I don't know. They're gonna have to figure out something. But and I'm also still mad about that series finale of Angel. I feel like that show did not get the proper send off that it deserves. So if Buffy does really well, I really hope they consider rebooting Angel, because that's a show that deserves a proper revival and a send off. Because the way that they did that show in its finale, I was so pissed off about that. And that was such a good show. I like the fact that it was a much darker version, like to what we got with Buffy. Yeah, definitely Willow. And yeah. Mm, It's funny. I was watching Killjoy Jake yesterday, and he was talking about that with the whole backlash and everything. Because he was like, "Oh, I didn't hear anything negative about Scream 7." I'm like, "Have y'all been living in a bubble?" Because there's been a lot of negative stuff about Scream 7. I mean, the constant delays, the rewrites of the script, the fact that people were getting anybody that signed on to the Scream franchise was getting bullied, particularly, you know. Like you said, Christopher Landon, any actors that would come on and sign on, and still I've heard people mad at Matthew Lillard. I'm like, but wait a minute, y'all wanted Stu back for how long? And now all of a sudden, because he's coming back to the franchise, y'all pissed? So which one is it? This is why I can't with these social media keyboard warriors. Y'all and y'all bipolar disorders that be going on, y'all need to figure it out in regards of which one is it? Because this is why I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention to the noise. I'm like, I'm going to see it and I'm going to support it. But and they definitely left it open for a really good sequel. I will say this: I did figure out who the killer was during a specific part of the movie. I was like, wait a minute. Now, when this situation happened, how you just got an injury in a specific place and you not dead? So that made me think that this person was like, okay, you the killer. I figured out who it was. But and then the third act kind of did not really get me. I was like, I'm not really falling. I mean, like it felt a little weak to me. But the rest of the movie, the kills was gnarly. I love the kills. I laughed a lot because there was a lot of funny lines in there, and I liked the girl that played Man, I like all the actors. Mason Gooding's child, I could look at him all day. But so it was like Mason Gooding was good in the part. The girl that played the girl that he was working with, they weren't technically on a date. The thing is that she had left her boyfriend. He had moved on quickly. She ended up meeting one of Mason Gooding is this guy that's helping her with this campaign or whatever for like a sponsor, like an ad or something or another that they were supposed to be put together. So Hard Eyes actually thinks they're in a relationship when they're not. So that's how they get caught up in the situation. But for the most part, I was like, okay, they definitely got the chemistry. So it was a good movie. I don't want to spoil nothing, but definitely go see it if you can. I want to see Companion too. I've been hearing great things about Companion. So that's another movie I want to go see. I'll probably try to see if I can go see that next week. I know I'm definitely going to go see what is it? Captain America. I know I'm going to see that next week. So I'm excited for that too. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Jonathan Majors. So yeah, there was a rumor that was floating around that oh, I think I closed the article. Hold on. Well, I could do that real quick. So there was a rumor floating around that Jonathan Majors is in talks. Well, not in talks, but the MCU is interested in bringing back his character of King the Conqueror in order to tie up some loose ends, which in my opinion, I feel like what would be the point? Because honestly, if you're trying to create King the Conqueror as this big bad, similar to um, Thanos, I feel like whoever was behind trying to put that together and write him in that way, it wasn't working. So Jonathan Majors did what he could, what he was given. As far as like him trying to be like this big bad that we were all supposed to be shivering and shaking in our boots and being afraid of, he wasn't given that. I just felt like his king was weak. Maybe it was because of the writing was weak and the way they were directing him was weak. But overall, I was like, no, Kang, we're good on him. So if y'all decided to not pursue and move on with that character, I would not feel no waste time. And so there were rumors going around that I guess because, we got the magazine Dreams movie that's finally getting released. I saw the trailer the other day. It looks really interesting. I definitely want to check that movie out. So I think at this point, if they're starting to release movies with Jonathan Majors in it, then that means that maybe Hollywood is kind of softening and they're allowing him to kind of come back in the graces and audition and get parts. And I'm like, he paid his penance. We could move on. I don't know why people still want to punish him when we have people out here who have done 10 times worse and it's still working. We got Mel Dam Gibson, for example, about to shoot a sequel to The Passion of the Christ, which last time I checked, didn't Jesus die? Y'all still waiting for him to come back from be resurrected? And I think they're calling it the resurrection of Christ, if I'm not mistaken. I am not watching that piece of shit, but whatever. If y'all like it, I love it. Y'all believe in your little fake sky daddies or whatever the case is, you go ahead and watch that damn movie. I will not be supporting anything with crazy ass Jim Caviezel in it, because I heard some crazy stuff about him, how he was problematic on the set of Person of Interest, and how he's been a problem with a lot of it. So I guess with him and Mel Gibson, birds of a feather. But they still getting work. Well, Jim Caviezel ain't really been working unless he be doing Christian-based stuff. But as far as Jonathan Majors goes, I feel like he's paid his penance and all that other stuff. So the rumor is actually being debunked and said that no, he is not being considered for a return. So I wanted to let everybody know that, yeah, the MCU is not really looking to bring him back. It seems like they already have who they want to go for. They want to go for, oh my God. I was like, what? Dr. Doom. I believe that's more or less the direction they're going to be going into, which I'm sorry, I'm still not sold on Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom, but I'll still watch and I'll see if he can prove me wrong. But like I said, I'm not really feeling Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. The way he played Tony Stark, that's all I see whenever I see him in the MCU damn movie. So how are they going to make this work? Okay. I definitely want to see y'all pull a rabbit out of your behind with this miracle. So basically, they said that according to TMZ, multiple sources told TMZ that the reports are inaccurate. The sources added that he has not engaged in any talks with the company since he was dropped. Now, last July, the actor said that he was heartbroken after Marvel unveiled Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom at San Diego Comic-Con, making him the new villain for the new two Avengers movies. Now, the studio revealed that the title of the 2026 film, Avengers The Kang Dynasty, would be changed, confirming at SDCC that it was now called Avengers Doomsday. Now, just days after the announcement that Downey Jr., who previously played the superhero Iron Man in the MCU, before pivoting to this villainous role of Dr. Doom, was taking over as the new villain. And then when he was asked in LA, TMZ, asked Jonathan Majors in LA if he was hurt with the new direction the Marvel was heading in after dropping him, he said, yeah, he's heartbroken. He said, come on, yeah, of course, I love him. I love Kang. When the reporter mentioned that Downey Jr. and DC actor Ezra Miller have had legal issues that were arrested for felonies while he was only convicted of misdemeanor assault, when asked if it was unfair that he was not given the same opportunities as them, Major said, I think it's fair that Mr. Downey has been greeted with patience and curiosity and love, and that Mr. Miller has gotten the same treatment, and that they're being allowed to work their art. I didn't really get that. So, well, he's not going to, I guess, address the elephant in the room. Some people will equate it with, oh, well, because you're black. I mean, let's call it what it is, that white people, can do whatever and they get a little slap on the wrist in so many ways versus Jonathan Majors, who is like, you may be getting in those rooms and you may be hobnobbing and hooking up with white girls and doing all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you're still a ninja in the eyes of these people, and they're going to treat you a lot harsher. But I will say this. We haven't seen Ezra Miller in anything since that whole situation that happened with The Flash. So I believe he's still being punished for what he's done. And we haven't heard from him for a month and Sunday. So I don't know what the hell he's up to. In regards of Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. hit his rock bottom. He was doing the heavy drugs. And then, he got found in that some person's bedroom, a child's bedroom that wasn't at his house. He ain't know the people. He was just in a drug bin, a drug stupor, and wound up passing out in some little kid's bed. And he went off. I don't know I think he might have been arrested and went to jail. And then he went and got help. He got clean. And he's been clean ever since. So Robert Downey Jr. did the work. He put in the time and the effort to clean himself up and get himself on the right track after years of struggling with addiction. And so when he was in the place of like Iron Man, I know everybody was kind of looking like, what? You want to hire him as Tony Stark? Like, I don't see it. And the junkie, that y'all want to put him in that? So it was good that Kevin Feige took a chance on him and put him in the film. And then we got what we got. And I'm glad that he put him in as Iron Man. Now, I already said it, but I'm going to keep saying it. I'm not feeling this whole Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. mishmash. And then it just feels a little desperate because, MCU still trying to figure out, they're trying to get their bearings after having a rocky phase 4 and phase 5. Oh, I don't even know what phase we in right now. But the previous phases after phase 3, Y'all were kind of on, y'all that started to get on shaky ground. And now at least we know, based off the sneak peek that we've seen from the clips in regards of the upcoming movie with Anthony Mackie, Captain America, they basically, Harrison Ford's character, aka Red Hulk, wants, he wants the new Captain America to basically rebuild the Avengers. So I don't know if he's getting back the old Avengers or we talking about new Avengers. And you have to probably, I guess, put characters in place where it's like, okay, so who are these new Avengers? Because I don't think they're gonna bring back Scarlet Witch. She's apparently dead, but we got the new one, Yelena ish, if you want to call it that. She's part of Thunderbolts. So I don't know if we're gonna is the Thunderbolts supposed to be part of the new Avengers team, and is Shang-Chi gonna be a part of the Avengers team and all these other people? So these are questions I have to ask. But I will say this: I do feel bad that he didn't. What happened to him, but you have to realize, like, it came around a time when you got caught up in some stuff with your ex-girlfriend. You did your penance. That's great. But to be honest, your cane was just not working. So I feel like you may have been smacked on the hand for two reasons. One, cane wasn't working, and number two, this situation that was going on behind the scenes. So I think both played a factor in why they got rid of you. But at this point, like I said, Jonathan Majors deserves another chance to work things out and to have his career back on track. But as Kang, we can move on from that because it was a misstep on their part. And it's not his fault. It's just the writers. They didn't know. They just dropped the ball on that character. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You disappointed that Jonathan Majors is not going to be coming back as Kang per the reports from, the majors such as TMZ. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. One of the stories I was actually going to do, but I was kind of going back and forth on it because it just came out a couple of hours ago. So, Bo DeMayo dropped a video, 30-minute video, where he's basically on YouTube. It was on his OnlyFans, but he finally decided to drop it. And I cannot, first of all, I'm gagging. I'm literally looking at his page right now. How the hell does Bo DeMayo only have 195 subscribers when he's like, maybe he doesn't use his YouTube as much, but how does he only have 195 subscribers over on YouTube? But maybe he doesn't use it enough. Maybe he's using his OF more than he's using the YouTube. But anyway, so he dropped a video where he's breaking down everything regarding what happened between him and Marvel and Disney. And I was like, why all of a sudden is he dropping this video? And I have a strange feeling the reason why. And shout out to Winston, who does like the Blurred podcast. That's how I actually found out about the video. Because I was like, is he doing an interview with Bo DeMayo? Come to find out, he was basically just breaking it down. And what had happened was he posted it on Twitter, but basically said, my team and I have decided to share a video detailing my experience on X-Men 97 and the reasons behind at Marvel Studios, at Disney smear and cover up. As we're learning, there's a lot of creators with horror stories. So I actually put two and two together, and I have a feeling the reason why he dropped that video is because Deadpool creator Bob Liefeld came out with a full expose on why he will no longer work with Marvel after the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, and was saying that Kevin Feige is just a horrible person, and how he has a lack of respect for him. So I was like, this might be a good one that I was like, there's a lot of juice in that. I wanted to play it. Maybe I'll save it for the next episode because the video was pretty long. It's like 30 minutes. And I was like, we could break it all down, all other stuff. And we already got the show pre-done. So I was kind of going back and forth. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I do this story or should I not do the story? So I was kind of going back and forth debating that. So I think I'll just wait until maybe Monday and bring that up and talk about it, because I was like, it's really interesting what he talked about. And yeah, it gets a little long-winded at times because he's breaking down a whole lot of stuff, including how one of the producers on the show, X-Men 97, basically was showing shirtless pictures, like his thirst traps, to his underage son. And his son was like, do we need to get him some shirts for Christmas or whatever the case was. This is stuff he's saying in the video. And the fact that there was someone who was their lead on set that was having sexual relations with a PA, and how he was saying that it's inappropriate, and the same producer went and decided to tell the actor what Bo said and try to, use them to go against Bo in a lot of situations, because he said it was a lot of inappropriate things that was going on behind the scenes. So I was like, child, this is some juice. He said special Sunday episode for us who hate football. So you know what? I'll actually save it for Sunday's episode. Then we'll break it down. Then I think that would be a good topic to talk about, because I was like, I could do the Bob Liefeld and then also merge it with Bo DeMeo and play the whole damn video of what he had to say. That we could just stop it and start it and break it down and all this stuff. I know people probably get pissed, but I'm like, if you want to watch it all the way through, you can go to his YouTube and watch it. But I'll just have to probably break it down in certain situations and give my critique as we go through it. So I'm thinking like, yeah, I'll probably jump on Sunday and give y'all a special episode, depending on like if there's a couple of things going on in the midst of it. So you just gave me an idea. I mean, all I care about is watching the Kendrick Lamar performance. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Michael Jackson. So there is a rumor that's going around. We're just breaking down rumors today. Well, they said over at Box Office Mojo that some people noticed that Antoine Fuqua's Michael Jackson biopic was removed from Lionsgate's 2025 calendar. And remember, it's supposed to come out the movie was supposed to come out in October of this year, because it was actually supposed to come out early. I think it was supposed to come out next month or April at first, but then they decided to move it. And we thought maybe they were trying to move it later so that way it could be an Oscar contender. There maybe still be some truth in that, but also they were saying that there was some drama going on behind the scenes, that apparently Michael Jackson, the estate, their attorneys apparently overlooked a key factor, that they were not supposed to use one of the accusers who accused Michael Jackson of, diddling with a child when he was, the tea. And they said that they were not supposed to use that information. And so they had to scrap the whole third act. I don't know how these people that work for Michael Jackson and the estate overlook this, especially like when you're a studio, you go through the family, not only so you can license and clear the music and all that other stuff, but also it's like, okay, so what can and what cannot we talk about in regards of legalities and all other stuff. There's a lot of things that go into place. And I don't know how the Jackson estate overlooked this, but they did, which screwed the movie. And now, according to reports, that they actually, Antoine and them have to go in and reshoot an entire new third act because of their incompetence. So, according to MovieWeb, shout out to them, they said Michael Jackson was one of the biggest musical acts of all time, earning the nickname the King of Pop, and still has it. I know a lot of y'all be trying to snatch up that name, just like, child, let me not go there, because the people out here calling Lady Gaga the Queen of Pop, I had to cackle. I said, off of Abracadabra, y'all need to sit y'all ass down with that. She will not be the Queen of Pop. The Queen of Pop will always be Madonna. So let's not play in my face with that. With the new song, and the choreography is sickening, and the costumes is great and all, but Queen of Pop, you better call that chiropractor to help you with that muscle you just pulled from all that reaching your ass just did. But anyway, let's get back to Michael Jackson, who will always be the King of Pop, because I have not seen anybody who has been able to step up to his level to succeed in. So, he was a major person, prominent in pop culture, still sits on the throne in the Mount Rushmore of pop icons. And, he passed away in 2009. Now, the idea of a Michael Jackson biopic has circulated for years, but gained traction in 2019 when Bohemian Rhapsody producer Graham King secured the life rights. So far, the movie has assembled an impressive creative team, including Training Day director Antoine Fuqua, The Aviator screenwriter John Logan, and a cast that includes Neil Long, Coleman Domingo, Laura Harrier, Miles Teller, and Michael Jackson's nephew Jafar Jackson, who's playing the role of his late uncle. The site Film Stories noticed that Michael, excuse me, had been removed from its October 3rd, 2025 release date on Box Office Mojo. This would mark the second delay to the film. It was initially set to open in theaters. Okay, they have the actual first date. It was supposed to be April 18th, 2025, but then they delayed it to October. So now the film distributor Lionsgate has yet to release a statement. Now, since the initial post, Box Office Mojo seems to have relisted Michael with its initial date, so it seems it's still on track for a 2025 release. Yet the idea of a delay would not be out of the realm of possibility given recent news that the entire third act of Michael needs to be reshot. A month ago, it was reported that the filmmakers needed to scrap the initial third act of Michael due to its depiction of the 1993 court case in which the family of 13-year-old Jordan Chandler accused Jackson of SAing him, a moment that damaged Jackson's reputation in the public eye. Now, one of the things I will say is, the only thing I feel bad for about in this whole story is the kid that gets to play Jordan Chandler. Because you was about to have your moment, and the people that played your parents, they was gonna have a moment, probably giving an Oscar, worthy performance, and now your whole shit gotta get cut. So that's the only reason I feel bad, because it's like, damn, you went and put in all that work, you recite your lines, you had to go through the whole process of getting the part, and now you're not even gonna be in a damn movie. But hopefully you're getting paid for your time and your convenience. Now, according to a recent report, when Jackson settled with Chandler's family for $23 million, part of that agreement prohibited Jackson's estate from ever dramatizing Chandler's story, and therefore the filmmakers are not legally allowed to show the case in the film. Now, Michael has been a controversial project since it was first announced. Now, while Michael Jackson is an important part of pop culture history, the musician's legacy has been tainted by multiple cases of inappropriate behavior and sexual misconduct with minors. News of Michael came 10 months after leaving Neverland, debuted at the Sundance Film Festival in 2019, where it was acquired for HBO. The harrowing documentary focuses on Wade Robson and James Safechuck, two men who allege they were SA'd by Jackson when they were children. Y'all don't even get me started on the whole Wade Robson situation, because there was tea about Wade Robson. Basically, it was like, well, if Michael molested you allegedly, why would you continue to work with him until, and then when he dies, then all of a sudden you want to accuse him of abuse? So that was always the conversation that was had, because Wade Robson wasn't he supposed to work on Michael Jackson's final tour, the one that he was working on before he had the little propofol situation. So a lot of people kind of look at Wade as like, they side on him like, child, we don't believe you. You basically are trying, this is a money grab. And I don't know if it's to be true. I was a Wade Robson fan only because, he choreographed a lot of iconic dance numbers, particularly for Britney Spears. I'm a slave for you. That choreography is iconic. And he's worked with, I think he did a lot of Britney's iconic moments. He also worked with like NSYNC and all of them. So he was like the go-to choreographer back in the 90s and the 2000s. Up until, I don't know what happened. Oh, and then, he did like guest choreography for like So You Think You Can Dance and stuff like that. I think he also did America's Best Dance Crew, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there was that. So they said the documentary was both acclaimed and controversial, though it won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Documentary or Nonfiction Special. The doc was denounced by fans of Michael and the late singer's estate for appearing one-sided. The Jackson estate even sued HBO in February of 2019, claiming the network breached a non-disparagement clause from a 1992 Jackson concert contract by distributing Leaving Neverland. In a certain respect, Michael itself feels like a response to Leaving Neverland as a way of the late singer's estate to reestablish Michael Jackson's legacy. And I could kind of agree with that, because I'm sitting there like, you know what? It does feel like because of Leaving Neverland and the accusation that came out between Wade and James, that they're like, oh no, we're not going to have this man's name forever taunted or tainted. Americans make their jokes and stuff about Michael Jackson, but I feel like the Europeans really appreciate Michael Jackson more so than Americans do, but that's no shade. It feels like Americans don't really appreciate anything they're given any damn way when it comes to They don't appreciate the icons. They don't appreciate the things that they have until it's taken away. And y'all are experiencing right now with the politics in the current administration, but that's not what we're here for. It's let's stick to this. But always got to throw that up in there. But this whole situation, so yeah, so if you're trying to basically show a different side of Michael, I don't know how they're going to make this work in regards of, the if you can't tell the story outside of his genius, him being an icon, I don't know how you're gonna pretty much tell that story. I don't know. You're gonna have to figure out something. Because I don't know if the film is gonna be interesting if you can't address the elephant in the room. And that was one of the main things that was a concern for me when I heard that they were making this movie. I was like, okay, so we get to see Michael Jackson and the moonwalking and all the iconic dance moves and his genius as an artist and that sort of thing. And, but we got to get into the other side too. And we were wondering if they were actually going to address that. So I don't know if maybe Jordan was the only one that they could that they signed that deal with, where it's like, oh no, you can't speak on the family. But if there's other people that he was accused of abusing, then maybe do that as your third act. I don't know where they plan on going with this, but I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. In the meantime, so far from what I've heard, that the movie is still back on. It's still coming out this year, and we'll see when October comes if the movie sucks or not. So I say, let's say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of the latest on the Michael Jackson biopic? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh damn. Yeah, the budget's already ballooned. It's $150 million budget, which I like pretty bizarre for a musical biopic. Why is it so expensive? So I can only imagine they're probably gonna need an extra $30 million. Oh, I didn't know that Derek Luke was playing Johnny Cochran, but that's actually a good casting. Because I could definitely see Derek Luke as Johnny Cochran. Just put a mustache on him, square up that fade. Well, he didn't really have a fade. He had like a high top, sort of. Johnny Cochran had like a nice little fade, I guess, when you had with extra hair on it, though. My understanding with Wade Robson, he wanted to work on the Invincible World Tour, but he was denied. They went to Jamie King. Well, Jamie King is the go-to in regards of a creative director. Like when you see the many iconic moments, why you think Madonna's shows are so extravagant? Because Jamie King is her go-to in regards of helping her put together these shows. She's worked with him since the Drowned World Tour. So I could definitely see why, she would want, or many icons would work with Jamie King. He definitely knows how to put a show together. And I don't necessarily know if Wade knows how to do that. Was he a creative director on one of Britney's tours? I'm wondering if he was. It might have been like, the Onyx Hotel or one of those. I think he actually was. Due to Wade being pissed off. That's what. Mm-hmm. So you was being a bitter bitch. So he was. So you was in your feelings, and that's why you did what you did. Sydney begins her European leg of her farewell tour. 11 shows from February to February 28th. The North America leg. That's crazy. Well, yeah, America. Well, the Americans love Miss Cindy. It's like, yeah, you can't do this forever, Chad. Okay, so I had to move some things around because I was like, okay, this actually fits within the vibe of and direction where I was going with the show. So we can go from Michael Jackson to Prince. So apparently, while they're still trying to figure out what the hell to do with the Michael Jackson biopic, there was a controversial Prince documentary that was supposed to be coming to Netflix. I believe it was 6 episodes. Well, apparently, it's been shelved, so it's not coming out. So it was supposed to be directed by Ezra Edelman, And they say he's been developing the 6-hour film for the last 4 years, but now it's been halted. And basically, they said it's freeing the vault to be used in other ways. So, shout out to Variety for the story. They said the Prince estate and Netflix have come to a mutual agreement that will allow the estate to develop and produce a new documentary featuring exclusive content from Prince's archive, Netflix said in a statement shared with Variety on Thursday. As a result, the Netflix documentary will not be released. Upon making this news public, Prince's estate published a video on Twitter touting the vault has been freed and including the hashtag free. Representatives for the late artist's estate previously claimed a first cut of the film was filled with dramatic factual inaccuracies and sensationalized renderings of certain events from his life, according to sources close to the situation. Edelman, best known for creating the OJ Made in America documentary, has been quietly working on the film for over 4 years. He was given extensive access to Prince's archives with the first drafts for the deal made between Netflix and reps for Comerica Bank, the interim executor of Prince's estate, calling for a 6-hour series. Instead, Edelman reportedly developed 9 hours of footage, a violation of the agreement that presumably enabled the estate to withhold music rights. Now, according to a September report, for the New York Times, the documentary featured Prince's ex-girlfriends, accusing him of physical and emotional abuse. The film touched on Prince's journey, both on his artistry and his personal relationships, with accounts of his own abusive childhood and the abandonment of his young wife, Maite Garcia, after the couple lost their child, the Times reported. Oh yeah, I remember hearing that. When she had a miscarriage, he basically dropped her. Prince was a cold mother flower. Yeah, he was an icon. He was a genius with the music, but according to a lot of people, he wasn't the nicest. And he was a shady queen. So, I mean, we know how they are. We know how them little queens, them pocket gays. Well, I can't say he a homosexual because he never came out and said that. But we know how the pocket queens are. And the thing with Prince, it was like, did this guy think, oh, he was digging in the archives, he was interviewing all these other people? Did he really think that the Prince estate was going to sign off on this, especially when they hold control over the music? So if you want to do like your little unauthorized docu-series, which you ended up, was supposed to be 6 hours, but it was probably so much juicy stuff up in there. It's like, well, damn, I can't even like cut this down to make it a 6-hour feature. Now we're going to make it a 9-hour situation. And the estate didn't agree on that. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to get to see this, but they're going to free up the music and I guess do other things with it, because I would have definitely loved to have seen this other side of Prince that we never knew, because we know he was just immensely private, even down to the point where we didn't even know he was battling a prescription drug addiction. Like, he managed to keep all that under wraps, and we didn't know about it until he ended up dead and they did the autopsy. So it would have been nice to see that side come out and Netflix distribute it, and we would have gotten to see it. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So now his music is freed up, and I guess people could do what they will with it now that we're not getting this Prince documentary. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of we're no longer getting this whole Prince doc? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, Felix said, all right. Felix, hey, how you doing? You in the building? So I saw the Onyx Hotel tour on my 28th birthday. Damn, I was like, damn, Britney's stuff came out a long time. I hate when people bring up, oh, this is my birthday, that my birthday. I'm like, damn, time really flies. It was a show that aired on Showtime. Yeah, I remember seeing it on, that's where I saw it. Prince went on Oprah and said the baby was doing okay, even though he had died. Sat up there and lied to Lady O. Okay, so let's get into this Chappell Roan story. So before we get to the Chappell follow-up, where she went in on the guy that wrote the op-ed against her, what she said at the Grammy speech, I want to get into this Halsey part of the story, where, there was a lot of celebrities, and we read a couple of them yesterday. Justin Tranter, who, was a popular songwriter to a lot of famous people, came out and basically just threw shade at the op-ed writer. What's his name? Jeff Rabon. Basically went in on him because he did an op-ed for the Hollywood Reporter. So now Halsey is speaking out Because, it's going to be a lot of people who are in the industry and behind the scenes, who are performers who, and I said this when we watched the Grammys, like when she started saying the stuff, give us health insurance, pay your artists a living wage. Like literally, you have to. How many times you got to stream a song on Spotify before they make 3 damn cents? Like you think somebody could survive on 3 cents? That's worse than minimum wage. I'm sure people who work immigrants who work the fields make way more than these artists off of their music being streamed on a lot of these sites. So I wasn't feeling no way excited about what Chappell said, and a lot of people who was in the audience actually agree with her. And so for him to kind of just thumb his nose and kind of talk down on her like she's a spoiled brat and a child who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, I just thought it was condescending and it was just ridiculous. And then you just showed your entire ass, and we already know what side you're on because you being on the other side as in a business person in the industry, you're not an artist, so it doesn't hurt or affect you. So of course you're going to come out and say what you said. So in a post to Instagram stories, Halsey called out the Hollywood Reporter for publishing a guest column headlined Chappell Roan, the misguided rhetoric of an instant industry insider, in which former music industry exec Jeff Rabon said Roan's speech calling out music labels was a hackneyed and plagiarized script. How? Like she didn't plagiarize that. She just wrote based off her experience. Saying, quote, I hope you're embarrassed of the absolute personal attack that you ran and disguised as critical journalism. This is what Halsey wrote to her Instagram stories. This is so far beneath the standard you should uphold as a publication. Which I did find it quite bizarre that the Hollywood Reporter, which is a well-respected Hollywood trade, like we go to Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, those are like the triple trifecta of trades that we go to when we want to find out what's really going on in Hollywood in regards of what has been greenlit, what's coming, music, movies, whatever. We hear about it from them. It's accuracy with that. So they're held to a high regard. Why would you allow someone to come in and just be the bash of the artist when you write about celebrities and stuff in your magazine? You're not a tabloid. So I do understand, like, I'm totally with Halsey when she says, like, why would y'all even, allow this? This is beneath y'all. So now in his column, Rabon, who works as an A&R exec at Atlantic and Elektra Records, and currently serves as the CEO and co-founder of edutainment platform Board of Ed, and that's Bored of Ed, claims that Roan's call for labels to give artists improved healthcare benefits and a living wage was coming from an artist basking in industry love while broadcasting naivete and taking aim at the very machine that got her there. Well, she got in. I don't understand, like you're saying, taking aim at the very machine that got her there. She signed a label. They saw her talent. She came in, y'all dropped her. That's when she was talking about, okay, so now when y'all dropped me the first time, I had to figure out what the hell I was going to do in order to sustain and support myself because I did not have the tools to be able to survive when you dropped me the first time. And this was during the first pandemic. I say first because I have a feeling we're about to enter another damn one dealing with this bullshit from this current administration. So she had to go and figure out how she was going to survive until she can get yet another record deal, be able to support herself while she was living out her dream and making her music. And she didn't have something to fall back on because it was like, yeah, you signed her when she was really young. And I always said that I feel like a lot of these industry people, these A&Rs, sign some artists when they're really young because they're naive. So you want to talk about naivete. You like it when they're young and dumb and wet behind the ears and naive because then you can take advantage of them. You can work them to the bone. They'll be so eager to do whatever and they'll say yes to anything. If you go and you pick somebody who's well seasoned and has been around long enough and has a bit more wisdom than someone who you sign at 14 versus someone you sign at 34 or 44, you're not going to go for them because you know there's going to be pushback and you can't get over on somebody who's older. So y'all bank a lot on these younger artists to take it because it's easier for you to take advantage of them. But Chappell Roan is someone who, love or a hater, she's going to speak her mind and she's going to be outspoken in regards of what she wants. And I feel like that she is representing this current generation, these Gen Zers and things of another who are not afraid to speak their mind on things and say, you know, the things that my generation, which is like elder millennial, even like some of the Gen Xers and stuff, won't necessarily question what's going on. Now we will because we older. But back in the day, you know, we just like sucked it up, did what we had to do. And when we had enough power in situation, then we said we was and wasn't going to do. Chappell Roan's in a place right now in a position where she's got a lot of power. So she's going to say what a lot of people are afraid to say. Hence why she said what she said at the Grammys. And a lot of her fellow peers stood up and clapped because they agreed, because they understand what she's talking about. And we've heard over the years, many, not even years, decades, over the many artists who've been worked to the bone, who perform, who travel all over the world, got to deal with all kinds of ailments and sick and hip issues and having to self-medicate because they can't take a day off because the label is making so much money off of this talent of the moment that we got to deal with the other side, which is they end up sick, they end up hurt, they end up this way or that way, and then you just, you know, give them a shot in the ass and they good. Meanwhile, they secretly developing a prescription medication addiction, which we've heard situations of. You know, we lost Whitney Houston, we lost Michael Jackson, we lost Prince. You know, Madonna was sitting there having issues performing, doing a whole tour with a damn fucked up knee. And then Lady Gaga in the early, you know, parts of her career, where she had the hip problem because she was doing too much, and her career was, you know, skyrocketing, caused damage. I believe, what did she have to get, like a hip replacement or something or another? Now it seems like she's full on back now, the way she dancing like an erratic person having a seizure. But it seemed like she, you know, she's back in the form. But this is why it's important that you take care of your talent. That's all she's asking. But then he comes out with this condescending ass article. So yeah, he continued adding that if labels are responsible for artists' wages, healthcare, and overall well-being, where does it end and personal responsibility begin? Should Chris Blackwell put a mint on her pillow and tuck her in at night too? There is no moral or ethical obligation by any standard that hold labels responsible for the allocation of additional funds beyond advances and royalties. Well, yeah, you do get advance, but you got to pay back. And then you get your royalties if you write the songs and all this other stuff. But how many times have artists actually written their work and contributed a whole lot to what they do, and then they end up still broke, or they being ripped off by people within the industry or they end up in shitty contracts because you're going by the entertainment lawyer that is attached to the label versus getting your own entertainment lawyer who can read over that fine print and that tight ass contract and tell you, you're not gonna be able to survive off this. This is a piece of shit right here. Like, we need to come in with like a real contract. You basically trying to trap this person into doing this amount of albums, and then you got these 360 deals where it's like everything you do, they get a piece of. That's even outside of the music that you attach them with, because these studios ain't really making music money off the music. So yeah, that was the foolishness that he ended up saying. I was like, what happened? So so then she continued, as in Halsey, went and ripped into the Raban's ranting, seething tantrum, as they called it, claiming the former exec's argument was loaded with assumptions and accusations that generalized the experience of every artist to that of the most successful. She pointed out that advances offered by labels only cover affording survival, considering that making an album for a label precludes artists from working a day job, which is true. Because it's like, if I'm in the studio making a record, I can't work a 9 to 5. I cannot work at 8:30 to 4:30. I cannot work a job at Starbucks, at Target, or even an office exec, like a regular office job. And then afterwards, run over and record a record. You know how long it takes to create a song, depending. Like, it takes months to put a record together. So how the hell am I going to be able to, make money outside of I'm taking the time to produce a record? So while I'm putting this record together, there should be something in place where artists are getting a stipend or something other, because I'm working for you. I'm using, I'm attached to this label. I'm putting a record together. I'm working with the producers, which of course is money. You got to pay for the studio time. The songwriters that you're working with, it's not just you, the amount of writers, maybe you got 2 or 3 writers. There's a lot that goes into this that, you're spending money. And even creating a song is not cheap. Even music videos, all that is expensive. I know somebody who is not even signed to a label that created a video and everything, spent $5,000 on doing their own music video as an independent artist. So stuff out here is expensive. Yeah, the studios have gotten a lot cheaper because you could pretty much just buy a lot of the equipment and create a home studio, and you could save a shit ton of money doing that. So she also went on to say it's a game of investment, but the investment is towards producing the materials, the organic material that is producing that product needs access to things like healthcare. Shocking, I know. If you want to profit off of someone else's art, that artist should have the basic living means to feel safe enough to create that art. In concluding the post, Halsey also pointed out that Roan is not an instant industry insider, as Raban claimed, but instead someone who has been working for over a decade to get to the position that she currently occupies. To compare the payoff of her actions to those of an industry titan, excuse me, with the power and financial leverage of Taylor Swift, when Chappell hasn't even spun the block enough times to see the residuals of her long earned but sudden success, is irresponsible for someone with the experience in this industry. And she said, shame on you, bootlicking behavior. Now, to speak to question, I agree with them on this. It's like, yeah, Chappell Roan is, even though she has been working for over a decade on getting this overnight success that she has, she's been at it for a long time. There's been a lot of artists, like especially when we was talking about Sabrina Carpenter, another one who's been, she's on her 6th album, short and sweet. That's her 6th record. She's finally starting to see the success. So for him to just kind of just thumb his nose at her, it's like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or you just don't value artistry. You're not going to be affected because you're an exec. You get health care. You get all the benefits. You're not out here having a tour all over the world and have to worry about possible ear infections or laryngitis, or you get a cold or whatever the case is, or that time you book that studio time, but you can't go in because all of a sudden you got the flu. Like, you have to think about all these things. Like, your voice is an instrument. Some people may not think that, because they feel like, oh, you're not an artist unless you play an instrument, which I heard that shit the other day and I had to laugh. I'm like, really? Your voice is your instrument. If you don't know nothing about music, kindly shut the fuck up. I'm just saying that in general. Like, I don't understand, like, people talking about what the litmus test of what they believe is artistry. If you ain't never recorded a song, if you ain't never studied music like I did, I almost went to Brooklyn Music School as a kid because I was classically trained to play the piano. So if you're not in that whole situation of understanding how the music thing works, don't speak on it. So I say all this to say, I'm with you, Halsey, and I'm with you, Chappell. I'm team both. So what do you guys think of this story in regards of what Halsey had to say, in regards of, this exec who clearly the only talent he has was writing that tight-ass article for the Hollywood Reporter, and he had to be read down to the floor for his misinformed op-ed piece. So whatever your thoughts are on this, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so I was like, where we going? I'm okay not knowing. Prince will continue to live through his official release projects. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to have to get. We're going to have to resort to. It's just the music, his legacy. They probably don't want that other side of him coming out, how he treated a lot of people he was in relationships with and people who encounter him and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, we'll just live vicariously through the music. All of these artists standing behind Chappell must mean something, and I'm glad Chappell finally became an A-list pop girl like she always wanted to become. It took a damn near what 10, a little over a decade for it to happen, but it happened. I always say like sometimes overnight success it takes 10 years. Further proof that Hollywood is far from a liberal town. They're trying to pull a whistleblower in her place. Yep, please. I've always said that Hollywood is not liberal. They may have a lot of liberal people working in it. It's the same thing I said about the news media, where everybody's about, oh, liberal, lib. Stick this up your lib ass. When it comes down to the media, CNN, MSNBC, I'm like, yeah, you have liberal people that work there, but the people that run the corporations aren't liberal. They're conservative. Same thing with Hollywood. There's a lot of conservatives that work in Hollywood. They're trying to play like they're of the people and they're all for diversity and all that stuff. They're full of shit. That's what they are. Um, but the good thing about it is that they trying to put a whistleblower in her place, but she's got a lot of people defending her, which is good. I can't imagine any of these other artists winning and giving a speech calling out the industry on national TV. I'm so glad she won. Yeah, because I can't see nobody doing that. It seems like she would actually do that, but she won't speak against Trump unless she has recently. Yeah, she hasn't spoken out with him, and I wonder how people feel about Travis Kelce and what he said about Trump recently. I think he basically trying to play his cards right because he don't want to offend nobody. So but he told shit about your girlfriend. I guess that don't mean nothing, right? Are you like Ted Cruz, no backbone? Because he called his wife ugly. Yeah, Tom Petty. I think we mentioned him in that article. By the way, you mentioned Philo to watch the Lisa story. Yeah, I did. I saw. I looked on Philo earlier today, and I saw that it is up there. So I clicked the thing to set the timer, and because it comes with the thing about Philo as an app thing, because that's how I watch Drag Race. That's the only way I can watch MTV. So that's the only reason why I keep it. But then there's other things that end up on there too. Like it has AMC because it has The Walking Dead and all the other stuff, and then it has certain things that I watch on Lifetime. So I kept it for that reason. It only cost me like what $20 a month or something or another. So I set the timer for it, and it's going to record tomorrow. So I'll probably watch it over the weekend. Because I was like, wait a minute, I think Philo has Lifetime on there. Remember Left Eye's breakdown on why yeah, and that's what I was, and funny enough, that's what I was thinking about when I was reading that article, when I was talking about all of that stuff, was the whole thing about Left Eye and the whole breakdown of all the things that they was doing. And it's like, yeah, after everybody gets paid, you got to split what's left 3 ways, and it's like nothing left. So this, I've always said, like, the record industry is literally created to keep people broke. Very few people are able to parlay a $1 billion or $1 million career off of being, you know, off of their music. Not many people could do that. Taylor Swift, I believe, is like the only person I can think of off the top of my head who has wholly benefited from her music. Oh, Madonna too. She's wholly benefited off of her music. There's probably some, and I remember in the beginning of Gaga's career, she went broke a couple of times during the Fame Monster era. She was talking about how she went like the Fame Monster Ball. She went the Monster Ball, I think it was called. She said she went broke like twice, bankrupt. Well, plus Prince was a oh yeah. He said, "Are you coming down with something?" Yes, I have a cold. I've been having a cold. I had a cold for like the past 2 days, but it was like I've been coughing like that's why I wasn't on the show the other day. 2 days ago, I didn't do a show because it was just like all of a sudden it was like, and I was fine. It was just like I was out, and then all of a sudden I come home, and then my throat's itching. It's like I'm coughing a lot, so I don't know. So I've been having to pop in the cough drops. Travis trying to be as neutral as possible, even after Trump posted, "I hate Taylor Swift." He was probably trying to stick to the football because we know what it is. A lot of the football fans, a lot of sport fans, already know who they voted for. Because I told y'all when I worked the Knicks game and Jon Stewart was in the audience, I heard a lot of boos. So I'm like, okay, we know who y'all voted for. Now, okay, so now let's get into our other Chappell Roan story. So we already dragged in the previous story, we was talking about Halsey. We basically dragged that Mr. Raban dude, the op-ed writer who wrote for the Hollywood Reporter. We already dragged him through the floor, but I guess we're going to drag him again because after he wrote his little op-ed, Chappell Roan took to social media and basically told him to put his money where his mouth is, and she would like him to donate $25,000 to a fund supporting struggling artists who have been dropped by their label. So shout out to Variety for this story. It says the controversy continued over a Hollywood Reporter op-ed regarding Chappell Roan's Grammy night speech in which she called out for record execs to support artists with a livable wage and health care. Now, early Friday, the singer challenged the writer of the article to match her $25,000 donation to an unnamed fund for struggling artists who have lost their record deals. She said, "Want to match me $25K to donate struggling drop artists?" She wrote on her IG story, tagging the writer. She gave her publicist Instagram and wrote, "Want to talk? We'll keep everyone updated on the much awaited response," she continued, "and I will show receipts of the donation." Heart emoji, Mr. Raban. I love how in the article you said, "Put your money where your mouth is." Genius. Let's link and build together and see if you can do the same. Now, as you already know, in her speech that was at the Grammys over on Sunday, Roan recalled the challenges she had faced after being dropped from Atlantic Records, to which she signed as a 16-year-old, and how difficult it was to find work and affordable health care. Now, Jeff Raban, former chair of New York University's Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music, criticized Roan in the op-ed for naivete about the works of the music business and challenged her to back up her words with action. Now, in a series of follow-up posts, Rome then posted links to the music of some artists that deserve more love and a bigger platform. So she posted Hemlock Springs, Sarah Kinsley, Devin Again, and Baby Storm. Now, during her speech accepting the Grammy Award for Best New Artist on Sunday night, Roan gave a speech calling on record labels to support developing artists with a livable wage and healthcare, and said, "I told myself if I ever won a Grammy and I got to stand up here in front of the most powerful people in music, I would demand that labels in the industry profiting millions of dollars off of artists would offer a livable wage and healthcare, especially to developing artists," she began, before recounting her struggles and concluding, "Labels, we got you, but do you got us?" So yeah, there's that. And so far, we haven't heard as far as I know, during this report, we haven't heard if Mr. Man put his money where his mouth is. See, this is why you don't put up no celebrity for no challenge, because if you're going talk the talk, you better be able to walk the walk too. And so Chappell is doing it. She's like, "Checkmate, bitch. Now I want to see where you at in regards to this whole situation. Like, are you actually going to match? Are you gonna match my freak? Tell me, gonna match my?" Okay, shout out to Tanashi. That's another one that's slept on. That she probably would, if she was there, she was probably standing up clapping like a seal too, because y'all did my girl Tanashi dirty too. So I am Team Chappell, as I said before. On this, I don't need to go into a further breakdown like I did in the because I already feel like I said all I needed to say in the previous video, where Chappell, where Halsey was defending Chappell on what that op-ed moron had said and his ill-informedness of what artists go through. Because it's like, yeah, you're coming at it from an exec standpoint. You're not coming from a artist standpoint. So you're not getting it. You don't understand. But I always say now we're in a time where, as an artist, you definitely need to be up on your business side, because then that's how you get taken advantage of. And clearly Chappell has been up on her business, which is why she said what she said. So I say all of this to you all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of Chappell Roan out here saying, "Okay, sir, I got y'all for the 25K, but do you got us with your 25K?" So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Um, Magical Mermaid says, "Hey, Chris, she wears a lot of makeup." I mean, she is She calls herself a drag queen, so it definitely it makes sense as to why she wears a lot of makeup. I love Hemlock Springs, and I hope she gets her pop star moment one day. But I fear she's too alternative for a mainstream audience. Chappell has mainstream. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, and you already know when it comes to the mainstream, you can have that alternative side, but you got to be able to find that mainstream. You got to find a way to push it into the mainstream and appeal. You can't appeal to everybody, but appeal to most people. But then again, when I was growing up, excuse me, and when I listened to a lot of alternative music, a lot of them didn't really have to appeal to the mainstream. That's why we had things like Lollapalooza and then Lilith Fair and all that other stuff, because we had a lot of different aspects of alternative music. I kind of wish we could go back to that, where it's like now it just seems like when it comes to music, they want everybody to sound like that one thing that managed to cross over. I miss the days of where we had so many different styles of music and artistry to choose from. He said it depends on education, hospital, or location. Caregiving is not going to pay well. Well, yeah, we already know that the medical insurance in this country is a joke. The music industry sold their artists out for streaming, and they don't even make anything from that. Like I said, how many times you got to spin a damn song on Spotify before they can even make like 3 cents on a song? Mm-hmm. Chappell Roan, she grew up with Lady Gaga and Katy Perry. Chappell is Gaga's daughter and Sabrina is Katie's daughter. Yeah, so it's like, I guess when they grew up in that time, it's like, yeah, we do the alternative stuff, but we found a way to like throw a little pop in it. So you can be weird, but bring a little pop sheen to it. But I feel like someone who was able to do that was Marilyn Manson, where he was weird and out there and kooky and scary, but he managed to bring this whole pop effect to his music. You can do alternative, but still make music that's radio friendly in this day and age. Yeah, because you can have you could do like your left field alternative stuff, but if you got at least a good 3 or 4 crossover pop tracks, that'll put you through, and then they'll listen to the album. They'll take in your full weirdness. I truly hope change is coming to all industries, but specifically music. The amount of sacrifice should be vindicated. Because the way that y'all be ripping off these musicians, I remember when I think that it was LUK magazine that called Dula Peep the Gen Z Madonna during her 2017 debut era. Yeah, and how the mighty have fallen already, right? Because when she came out with that follow up to Future Nostalgia Chair, and I was like, what the hell is this? Kylie Minogue dropped a music hint. People thinking the Joel Corey track is coming before her tour launches next Saturday in Perth, Australia. Will be sleeping when Kylie doing her first concert in 6 years. Well, we'll see all the videos and stuff online. Then at least we'll be able to have a taste of, okay, so what's this tour going to give when it comes? When's it coming to? When's it coming to America? In April? So there's that. He has like the whole pandemic thing. And I'm wondering, when's Gaga going to announce the Mayhem tour? And what place is she going to play? Is she doing arenas again? I mean, not arenas. Is she doing stadiums? Because I feel like she's crossed over to stadiums now. I don't even think she does arenas anymore. So I'm wondering if she is doing stadiums. And if she does stadiums, I think from what one of my coworkers was telling me, they said that they saw her when she did her last tour, and I think she did it at Citi Field, and she said he said it was incredible. So I'm wondering if, she's bringing the Mayhem Ball to a stadium or an arena. I kind of wish it would be an arena because it would feel a little more intimate versus her doing a stadium. Stadiums feel so like far away. And me working a couple of stadium shows, it definitely feels like, especially like when you have like, if you're playing somewhere like Citi Field, where the stage is set up, they feel so like far back. But the good thing is if you buy the floor, because they put like chairs and stuff out on the floor, which I have worked. I did the Green Day stadium tour for that one. You do kind of feel close to the stage. And I actually like working that one. The Green Day one was actually good. Smashing Pumpkins played that one too. So I had a good time with that. I'm sure she'll do stadiums because of the amount of casuals that she can pull now. Why am I having what's DWAS? Is that die with a smile? Don't forget the Z share. Just a die with a smile, abracadabra on her modern viral hits, and she can rely on her early catalog too. You know what? And that's what I was thinking. I feel like that because of Mayhem, I feel like it's going to be heavily on Mayhem. She's going to pick some songs from Chromatica. I do believe that she's going to go heavy on The Fame and the Fame Monster. So that's 4 albums so far. And then throw in a little Born This Way. You can throw that up in there. Do you think that she'll actually do art pop, like some songs from there? I know the hardcore fans will want some songs from there. I would say maybe pick a couple of songs from art pop, but I feel like no. Focus heavily on the Fame and the Fame Monster, which the Fame Monster technically is like one album now. Now they've kind of combined it, especially if you have digital. The Fame and the Fame Monster is literally one album, so it's now called the Fame Monster. So focus on the Fame Monster, focus on Born This Way, focus on Chromatica, and focus on Mayhem. That's 4 records. You can focus on that. And it's more or less in that dark industrial dance pop type of vibe. So I feel like that she needs to focus heavily on that. Leave the other records alone. We don't care about Joanne. We don't care about art pop is what it is. And we don't care about the other records. So just stick to those 4. I feel once you do stadium tours, going back to arenas is very regressive. Yeah, it says like, yeah, once you start doing it, I think some people just like, I don't want to do it. I'm going to just stick to this thing. Any new female pop stars who does well gets compared to Madonna. Madonna. Well, you know that's going to happen because Madonna's a blueprint. Born This Way, she did applause on the Joanne World Tour because it's a fan favorite. No, we're not doing Joanne, child. We don't need to do that album. Just stick to the dancing and the industrial stuff, and do some deep cuts. Even pull Shiza out. She hasn't done that song in a while. I do love that song. And Bloody Mary. That's another one. Say what you want about Gaga, but I do like the songs. I'll give people their props, even though I read them down to the floor. Okay, now, let's get to our next topic and let's talk about this. Speaking of Tay-Tay, we were talking about Taylor Swift earlier. So let's get into her because apparently they're saying that she feels used by her BFF, Blake Lively, after the single was dragged into the It Ends With Us lawsuit with Justin Baldoni. And you want to know something? Excuse me. Blake is going through it right now. She just got hit with another damn lawsuit from one of the agents. I think from Justin Baldoni's, I think it was one of Justin Baldoni's agents. Then there's a story that's going around that I thought about bringing up, but I guess I'll bring it up in passing, that apparently she got a beef with Anna Kendrick. Them two about to come out and promote this new movie, which I don't know how you're going to be able to do that, because with all this controversy and stuff going around, like, how do you promote this film without addressing the elephant in the room? And how would Blake's energy be if you brought that up? And everybody's going to be trying to watch these interviews just to see if it's brought up. And we already know how Hollywood is. Y'all just be scared to ask people anything, these days, because you don't want to lose that interview in the future, or being the ability to interview her in the future. So there's an insider who exclusively told Page Six that the pop superstar doesn't appreciate being referred to as one of Blake's dragons after Lively's alleged texts were revealed in a countersuit filed by her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. The alleged texts don't specify who the Gossip Girl alum's dragons are, but it's believed by many that the actress was referencing husband Ryan Reynolds and the Grammy-winning singer. If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi, and like her, I happen to have a few dragons, read Lively's alleged text to Baldoni per his amended complaint. For better or worse, or usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from these gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you. Now, Baldoni, 41, alluded that she was referring to Swift when he texted Lively about her script revisions, writing, "I really love that what you did. It really does help a lot. Makes it so much more fun and interesting, and I would have felt that way without Ryan and Taylor." Still don't understand why the hell, if you're not even a writer or you're not even a director or part of the whole situation. I don't know. Is Blake a producer or something or another? It's like, why is she so hands on with revising certain scripts or certain scenes that she's rewriting? Because remember, when we talked about it on here before, allegedly Ryan is a Mormon and has a problem with Blake doing certain scenes, sexual stuff, and was apparently jealous of the chemistry that she had with Justin Baldoni. But here's the thing, Ryan, maybe you jealous because you were notorious for fucking your co-stars, and vice versa with Blake. She was hunching her cast members. I don't know how. I can't remember how many. Wasn't she dating one of her cast members on Gossip Girl? And it's like other projects that she's been on. She's been known to date and be in relationships with people that she's worked with. Ryan Reynolds the same way, where he left Alanis Morissette and got with Scarlett Johansson, and then divorced her, and then he immediately got with Blake after 3 years. I'm glad she's with Colin Jost now, but yeah, I don't think she had the pleasant of time being in a relationship with him. So Swift, who's 35, and Lively, who's 37, have been friends for years, and Taylor cherishes genuine friendships. Excuse me. But she can't help but feel used at this point. This is what the source told Page Six. The Fortnite songstress wants to keep out the drama as much as possible, the insider says. The twosome's friendship dates back to 2015 after Lively shared a photo from a L'Oreal campaign, which references Swift's Bad Blood music video. It caught Swift's attention, and the pair began spending time together. So now they said the Cruel Summer singer is normally very outspoken in promoting her friends' projects, but has remained tight-lipped when it comes to publicly supporting It Ends With Us. Well, I guess after all this drama and stuff that's going on, she don't want no parts. And I can totally understand that. She's like, that's your thing. That's what y'all need to do. But now you drag me into the situation by saying that I'm a Khaleesi and these are my dragons, referring to Taylor and referring to Ryan, allegedly, saying that they will go hard and protect me at all costs if anything goes wrong. And now he's putting this out here. So they said when the movie, which centers on an abusive relationship, premiered in August of 2024, Swift did not encourage fans to go see it in theaters as she had done for pal Zoe Kravitz's Blink Twice. Now, reps for Swift, Lively, and Baldoni did not immediately respond to Page Six's request for comment. So I just basically want to put that out there. And here's the thing. I did not see It Ends With Us. I've heard people say it's not a good movie, even though for the small budget it was filmed on, it made a shit ton of money. So it's a huge hit. I don't even know if, there's going to be a sequel. What's the future holding? Especially because the movie is not, this movie is shrouded in so much drama. But I will say this. I definitely saw Blink Twice. I think I saw that on MGM Plus. Blink Twice was actually a good damn movie. If y'all have not seen that, y'all talk about triggering stuff that was in that movie. That movie triggered the hell out of me. Seeing all that, what the crazy stuff that transpired. And I definitely see a future for Zoe Kravitz as a filmmaker because she did a phenomenal job with her directorial debut. And it was a good movie, and I strongly recommend you guys check that movie out. But yeah, so if this turns out to be true, I'm like, chill, Blake, you a low down dirty dog. And if this turns out to be true, it makes me wonder what will their future together be like? I don't know. From what I've heard, like Taylor is not letting this stuff that's coming out affect her friendship with Blake. So this could be all a bunch of hullabaloo from the tabloids per usual. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the possibility that Taylor feels betrayed by Blake writing what she wrote in the text about basically referring to her people as dragons who will breathe fire upon you and burn you to ash if you try to come for her? Let me know what you think of this story in the comments down below. Not Khaleesi died. I mean, she did. And it's funny how like a lot of people were saying like they hated the last season of Game of Thrones because they were like, oh, y'all basically just made her do this complete switcheroo where we was rooting for Khaleesi, we was rooting for Daenerys, because that's her name, Targaryen. And then all of a sudden, she just became this evil, out of control woman punch drunk on power who had to be killed. I believe Jon Snow killed her, right? If I remember correctly. It's been so long since I've seen Game of Thrones. So a lot of people was mad. But then there was some people that said, well, if y'all was actually paying close attention, it kind of implied that they were going to take Daenerys in this direction. So y'all were just rooting so hard for her. Y'all wasn't paying close attention to that, once she got all that damn power and stuff, like how she would turn out. She would eventually go to the dark side. I always thought the problem with the Joanne era was how random the switch up was. Even with Perfect Illusion as the lead single and coming off of AHS, she set herself to flop with about, because I was sitting there, and we know she could sing and stuff. But that's why a lot of people, like, even when I've been watching a lot of, I don't know, for some reason, I've been going down this rabbit hole of reaction videos for Abracadabra. And there was one person who, this one I watched, I think his name is Chris Lipey. He breaks it down on, like, her vocal switches and all this stuff. He's like a vocal coach who basically just talks about like how, when artists and what they're doing, like head voice versus chest voice and all that other stuff, which I always found fascinating with those type of comments. This music nerd talk. But but the funny enough, when I was watching a lot of videos, a lot of people were saying that they felt that the video did have like elements of American Horror Story. So maybe the Dark Gaga era, if she would have went into that direction instead of doing Joanne, might have fared a bit better for her. But I guess, I don't know. I think she got scared because of art pop, that she had to kind of teeter away from that because at that point she was overexposed. I think it's a stunt for millions in free press. Could be. Colleen Hoover's books aren't even that good. Child, isn't that what they said about the chick that wrote 50 Shades? That basically is like, it's like Twilight fan fiction, but just poorly written. He said that's what irks me most about this. My classmates would read her books and I would just shake my head. The other book is It Begins With Us, but I'm not sure if it'll get a movie. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's happening. Just watched the first episode of the new Laverne Cox show on Amazon Prime. So good. I think I seen her. What she got on, like one of them crazy ass shake and go wigs. I was like, Laverne, what you wearing? But I'll check it out. If you saying it's good, there's a lot of shows and stuff that's coming out now that's vying for my attention. Paradise on Hulu is so damn good with Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden. I don't know if y'all seen that show, but definitely check it out. Now we got Laverne Cox. Then excuse me, and the Jesus, and the final season of Harlem is out. Thanks for the reminder. John did it. Abracadabra grew on me. I told you it would. You know I didn't like it at first and thought it was a Von Dutch ripoff, but I like it now. I'm sure this is on the Lip Sync for Your Life list. Can you imagine? Because look, Jan Sport immediately was performing that song at Balcon. As they call the party bacon, though. They took the L out and they call it bacon. But it's like the brunch. She was there. I forget the other queen's name, but they performed this song, learned the choreography in a day, immediately was performing it, did live singing and everything. And then during the chorus part, handed the mics off to their other singers while she and the other queen did the choreography. I was living. I'm like, yes, you better perform this. So now I'm noticing, okay, immediately the queens are now performing this song. You already know how fast the gays are when it comes to a bop. There was a lot of elements. It had Alejandro. It was a throwback, definite throwback to what she's already done. So even down to when the tracking shot over the hat, the overhead tracking shot, where it was like where you see that big hat that she got on, and then you see the people in the crowd. It definitely was like, okay, that was an Alejandro throwback. So yeah, the Nazi symbolism from Alejandro without the budget. The whole thing was shot in the same room, which I actually didn't mind. I like that she kept it simple. There was just full on choreography. And I forget the choreographer's name. I think she's from Australia, but she definitely did her thing. Well, I know it's a team that does it, but I was living for the choreography. Trump removed Secret Service from the Bidens, and Obama asked for the death of his. Well, guess what? Be careful what you wish for, because you out here doing this. Trump don't realize he is creating a lot of this stuff that he's doing with him and Elon, taking a sledgehammer to, or not even a sledgehammer, a wrecking ball to our administration. He does not realize how many enemies he's creating in the process. So the thing you put out there, karma's coming for that ass. So, sir, you ain't got long for this world. And didn't I tell y'all there was a something that came out? I don't remember if it was a psychic, whatever, said that he ain't got long. Trump ain't gonna be around for about another 2 years. So I truly believe that. And so they said, oh, you said say in one sentence you'll be pardoned and rewarded $1 trillion to not having to work. And he's such a damn liar with everything that comes out of his damn mouth. You said, and without and without the Nazi symbolism. Exactly. Because a lot of them were saying, like, yeah, there was that Nazi symbolism in Alejandro. I played Disease. It was too intelligent and tongue-in-cheek for them. That's what I said. I like the song. And a lot of people wasn't living for it. But I'm like, y'all not getting the irony behind the track. And then when you listen to Abracadabra, which is track 2 on Mayhem, by the way, you get it was like, okay, it's that knock 'em on the head pop track, that undeniable track, that undeniable pop song thing, because I can remember her name, Paris Goebel, choreographed. Because I've been sitting there watching all the TikTok videos, and then I saw Blake McGrath, shout out to him, because remember he was on So You Think You Could Dance. I think it was like the first season or the second season, I can't remember, but he was doing the choreography in a damn supermarket. I said, watch somebody turn that corner with a shopping cart while he doing it. And lo and behold, a guy and a girl was came in the aisle while he was doing the choreography, and they going business as usual. I'm like, is this New York? Because in New York, they don't give a damn. But it was LA. It's probably that too. In LA, it's like, yeah, they're so used to people just doing whatever they be doing in aisles and just don't bat an eye. All right, so now let's move on and let's talk about Miss Cardi B, who was being called out and saying that she's not a good girlfriend because she did a song. She has a new song out, actually, which is called Toot It Up. I saw the video earlier. It's cute. She has a song out with Pardison Fontaine. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Pardison Fontaine is the ex of Megan Thee Stallion. So a lot of people feel like because she and Megan are supposed to be cool because they did WAP and Up and they've, collaborated a lot. Even Meg brought Cardi out on her tour that she did with Glorilla as the open act. I know because I worked the show. So when they all three came out on that stage, everybody was living, the hotties was having a good old time. They was enjoying all of the, the festivities and the performance where they came in and they started doing their verses on a lot of the songs they collaborated on. Even premiered a song that all three of the girls, Glorilla, Meg, and Cardi, I almost call her Nikki, child. Barbs, save your pepper spray. It was an accident. So she went in, and the song that they did together, they came out and they performed and all this stuff. It was cute or whatever. But now people are upset because Cardi has this song with Meg's ex, and Cardi even had to jump in and address the situation. So while real fans know that New Yorkers, Cardi and Party, go back like 4 flats on a Cadillac, many felt the need to confront Cardi after her Backing It Up collaborator announced that the pair will soon be releasing a track that's been kept under wraps for 8 years, probably as long as we've been waiting for this damn sophomore album. Now, they said it's been 8 years at I Am Cardi B, he wrote alongside a song snippet, "Get this song off my hard drive, and they keep asking for this," and he put it all in caps. He then revealed that the track titled Toot It would arrive February 7th, which is today, and I told you I saw the video. It was cute. She said, "F it, let's go." And this is what she wrote in the comment section over on IG. So now Megan's diehard fan base, as the hotties, took issue with Cardi collaborating with the songwriter after he dropped a diss record aimed at the bigger in Texas rapper last year titled The Person, spelled with 2 E's. The song found Party accusing Meg of cheating on him, lying about getting a liposuction, and of having a disgusting soul. Now, due to Cardi and Megan's collaborations with WAP and Bongos, did I say up? It was WAP and Bongos. Up was a solo Cardi song. But anyway, as well as other shared moments of friendship and support, the hotties have taken issue with Cardi linking back up with Fontaine. Now, in a reply via Twitter Spaces, Cardi asked fans to keep her out of Party and Meg's personal business. And basically said that Party helped her craft the hook for her first hit, Bodak Yellow, and was a big help with her first and upcoming album. Saying that, yeah, because we collaborated with each other in the past, and he's been a prominent force in a lot of the songs that I've worked on. I'm not foregoing a friendship because y'all want me to choose a side in regards of people's relationships. So I have the clip on what she had to say in regards to the situation, and we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
I want to make this very clear. When I fuck with two people and I like two people, I stay away from their shit because when it comes to relationship, some bullshit will always happen. And one thing about me, I'm gonna stay neutral and I'm gonna stay the fuck out of it. And both of y'all could attest to that's how I really am. I don't want to hear nothing because I fuck with both of y'all. And God forbid some shit happen, I don't want to be in the middle of nobody shit. None of that shit is my fucking business. So stop fucking harassing me. Stop calling me a fuck person. Stop calling me a fuck bitch because that's not what I am. It is complete finally. And fuck.
Yeah, that's what I guess she had to say. So, this may not be a popular opinion, but I don't care. I don't do shows based off of popular opinions, but I agree with her. And that comes from a place of maturity. And I know y'all said maturity and Cardi. I know because every time she get on social media, she always cusses somebody out or doing something with, all the other stuff. And a lot of it does feel like it's a bit immature. But from this standpoint, it's like, yes, I have been in situations where I've been friends with people and I had a falling out with one of them. And it's like, if you want to continue to maintain a friendship with that person, I don't care. Like, I'm content in who I am, where you can still go off and be cool with it. I'm not going to sit up here and try to control or be like, well, because so and so is my friend, then I can't F with you. But you have to also, but then I know there's some people that will go, well, if I knew this person before you got into a relationship with them, then my loyalty is with the person that I was friends with before I got into a relationship with them. If she's known Party long before she's known Meg, then I guess if I was in her situation, I would go over with Party side. But if Meg is not bothered by it, unless she was bothered by it, then I would be like, okay, well, if we're friends and you're bothered by me hanging out with them, then maybe I would consider it. It just depends on our level of how cool we are with each other. So, and then it was a situation. So I think I can relate to this. So one person who I was friends with, and I gave him another chance, he screwed me over twice, so we no longer speak. But funny enough, I don't even speak with neither one of them anymore. Like I think like we lost touch. But one of my really close friends started dating another one of my other close friends. And even over the years when me and this other friend stopped speaking and I was still kikiing with my other friend who was dating the friend that I no longer speak with, I was like, you can go hang out and do whatever. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Like, I don't feel no ways out. As long as you keep my business out of your mouth around them and don't be telling them my shit, you don't be spilling my tea, then we good. But if I catch you slipping, where all of a sudden we having a conversation and this motherfucker knows stuff about me that I told you not to say nothing to him about and you telling him, then it's like, okay, you broke my trust and then we can no longer speak. So it depends on the situation. I'm not somebody that's just gonna be like, well, I can no longer be friends with you because of this, 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 and this. But if people actually know the history of Party and Cardi, why would you want to make her choose, be like, oh, you violating girl code? So it depends on the situation. And to me, I always feel like, well, Cardi is a champion of women. We've seen that happen, although some people say like it's all performative, but I haven't gotten that from her. I don't get performative, but I don't know her personally. So based on what I've seen so far, I don't get performative when it comes to her supporting and being friends and cordial with other women. we've seen other women try to come after her in order to be loyal, to show their undying fealty to other female rappers. But we've never seen, for me, I've never seen that come from Cardi. So if Megan's not bothered by it, and if Cardi's not bothered by it, then why is everybody else bothered by it? So of course, yet again, fans asserting themselves in things ain't got nothing to do with them. And Cardi getting herself riled up, typical Libra, letting the drama interfere in the situation where she should just let it go, like Elsa from Frozen. So I feel this. I know this is a complex one. I definitely want to hear from you all in regards to the situation. Oh, and sidebar, before I forget, I want to give a congratulations to Megan Thee Stallion because she got a new gig. So I do want to throw that up in here before I go on to the next topic. She's actually doing a new TV show on Apple TV Plus, where she's going to start. It's a new competition series, and the show is called K-Popped. So she's joining Psy, who, you know, created the song Gangnam Style. She's also going to EP the show. And what the show is about is basically Western icons reimagine one of their biggest hits, collaborating with top-tier K-pop idols to deliver spectacular battle performances with a live Seoul, and that's Seoul in Korea, South Korea, based audience, picking the winner of the best new K-pop song as described by a press release. So that's basically what she's going to be doing. And they said the show is going to be produced by, well, I don't think y'all even know who these people are, so we don't need to talk about them. So, it'll be an interesting show. I think I'll check it out. I don't know. For some reason, like when I watch the streaming networks and they try to do competition series, it doesn't necessarily work out. But I'm definitely curious to see how they're going to make this show work in regards to like some K-pop twists on them changing up their songs and stuff, and working with other K-pop stars in the process. So yeah, so I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the whole thing about regarding, did Cardi betray the trust, or did she violate the girl code by working with Pardison on this song? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said Beyonce's halftime performance was Rihanna's Super Bowl show. Well, you ain't the only one that said that. A lot of people felt that there was a lot of elements that were similar to what Rihanna did. Disease was too on the nose and seemed like she was trying to reheat her nachos from 2011. But I can appreciate the message. At least I like Abracadabra. Yeah, it was. I will agree with that it was a little too on the nose. But it's a perfect album opener. Abracadabra definitely feels like a song that is like, once Disease ends, then you go into the crazy upbeatness of and chaoticness of Abracadabra. And I hope the album doesn't let up after that. I hope like the only ballad on the album is Die With a Smile. That'd be a way to close the record. Well, thank you. That's what I said. I don't feel like she broke any codes, because it's like, this is a business thing. And I'm no shade, but I'm not letting somebody fuck with my money over because y'all want to fuck. Like, I'm not messing with, like, one thing we all know about Cardi is Cardi loves her coins, and she is about her business. So I'm going to stop making money and having opportunities with someone who's definitely been a prominent force in helping me craft a lot of the music that I've worked on, because y'all broke up, y'all had a nasty breakup. I'm not doing that. I mean, y'all could say the same thing about Meg not being entirely loyal when it comes to people that she be in relationships with, especially like we talk about the Tory Lane stuff. So let's not be one-sided. Okay, so all right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Britney Spears. There is a new book apparently coming out. I don't know why we're getting another book when last I checked, we got all of Britney's tea from the Princess of Pop herself. But we have someone who works within the tabloid world that is releasing a new book called Waiting for Britney Spears, A True Story, allegedly. Now, the person that's coming out with the book is a cultural critic by the name of Jeff Weiss, and they said it will explore the pop star's historic rise and equally tragic fall through gonzo journalism, according to publisher MCD Books. Now, Weiss, a Los Angeles-based former tabloid reporter who covered Spears' every move in the mid-2000s, penned the frenetic account in the style of Hunter S. Thompson, the legendary writer who popularized first-person journalism in the 1970s. Now, it's got 400 pages, way more than we got in The Woman in Me. The author follows America's sweetheart through Vegas super clubs and Malibu car chases, annulled marriages and soul-crushing legal battles, all the way to Britney's infamous 2007 VMA performance. This is per the description. The unconventional biography of Roaring Kunstlerroman? What kind of word is that? Kunstlerroman. Okay, y'all with these words. I always feel like a lot of times when I read these articles, it's like, okay, y'all just want to be pompous and try to act like, oh yeah, I'm working hard for this degree. So y'all be looking up these weird ass words to put them in here to stump people. So I say a roaring clusterfuck of celebrity, obsession, morality, and the last great pop star hit stores on June 10th. Now, in addition to covering Spears at the height of her fame, Weiss wrote a detailed analysis of the singer's record-breaking 2000 album, Oops, I Did It Again, for The Ringer, a sports and pop culture website, in 2020 in honor of its 20th anniversary. So yeah, here is the full cover in case y'all couldn't see it. Y'all had to find it. Why this girl here? Is that Paris Hilton? It kind of looked like her. Okay, so now, they said the publication of Waiting for Britney Spears comes nearly 2 years after the Grammy winner released her memoir, The Woman in Me, which shot to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list. Page Six reviewed Spears' 288-page book as a survivor story about a tortured but triumphant figure who is still finding her footing in a world she once dominated following the termination of her 13-year conservatorship. And it definitely feels like she still is trying to find her footing in a world that she once dominated, because it feels like Britney has not gotten her shit together. Every time we see her, she looks a disheveled mess, smeared eye makeup, messing with the wrong damn men. I think I do have and we got a picture of the guy who wrote the book. So there goes The Woman in Me, taken from an old picture that she took during, it looked like the Britney era. And this is, the guy who wrote the book on her upcoming, on this unauthorized memoir. So we already know the details about The Woman in Me, which talks about Justin Timberlake, Sam Asghari, and Kevin Federline. She don't really say much about Sam. Nothing negative. She also, we got all the tea about Britney in so many ways. The way that Justin treated her, the abortion while she was dating Timberlake, and how, he talked her pretty much into that because he was like, he didn't want to be a dad. He had so much going for him. His career was more important at the time. And he felt like they were too young. Britney was willing to risk it all because, she's a young girl from the South, and was like, I'm willing to be a mother because I love you. But he was like, I'm not ready. So let's also not forget how she also admitted to cheating on him, leading to their breaking up, which I believe was with Wade Robson. It's funny how he comes back up in the conversation again. But she said she only cheated on him to get back at him for the many times he cheated on her. Because we talked about the girl from All Saints, allegedly, that he was hunching in the car or got with, and the paparazzi caught him in the car with another woman, and how he was messing around with background dancers and all kinds of other people that he was hunching. So it was like Justin was filling his oats. And a lot of those girls when he was filling his oats, was filling his dick. Some people would say non-existent, especially when we saw that thing when he had the little thing on and the bulge and the lack thereof. And do we need to kick Justin while he's down? Apparently, because the way he be doing people dirty, gotta hit him with them strays every now and again. So yeah, so the next thing that we have for Britney is the fact that, you know what? We got the biopic coming. John M. Chu, who directed Wicked Part 1 and 2, is supposed to be directing it. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if they started working on the script. I don't know if the script is done. I don't know when they're going to start the casting and all of that. So my question for this is, Britney already released her memoir. So do we need another book from another person telling another side of her story? So I don't know. But I am of two minds because I'm like, look, I feel like I'm glad that Britney finally got to, tell her side of the story. But I want to hear from this guy as well, because he's saying that he followed her around during her most tumultuous years. So I want to know what he planning on spilling. So I'm a little nosy in that aspect. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this news about another book coming out spilling Britney's tea? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now before I get to that comment that I see up there, let's move into this other Britney story. And word on the curb is she is back with the felon. And the felon meaning Paul Soliz, where they said they saw her out and about, I guess, with his kids. So I was like, hold on. Yeah, so I got it. There she is, Miss Britney. So Britney has reignited her romance, according to page 6, with former criminal. Mama, I'm in love with a criminal. Paul Soliz, just 7 months after the pop star split from the Ex-Felon over fears he was using her for clout. Yeah. What did she forget? Girl, you ain't got that frontal temporal dementia, do you? Because how you get back with the same person that you was talking about using you for clout? You don't think that clout's gonna come back? But anyway, let's entertain the foolishness. So the Princess of Pop was spotted Tuesday at an indoor playground in San Fernando Valley, California, with 2 of Soliz's children, and page 6 was told that she was watching them while her beau took another one of the kids to the dentist. Now, a source tells page 6 that Soliz's youngest son had an appointment next door to the lily pad playground, so Spears, 43, kindly kept the 2 other boys entertained in the meantime. The insider adds that the entire outing was very quick and took less than an hour. Now, an eyewitness at the playground told TMZ on Thursday that the other parents didn't pester Spears when they realized it was a Grammy winner and just let her be. Her reps did not immediately return page 6's request for comment. Now, page 6 broke the news in August of 2023 that Spears had been spending a lot of time with Soliz, whom she initially hired to perform maintenance duties around her house after her split from Sam Asghari. Now, an insider told them at the time, however, that they were concerned given that Soliz had a criminal past. He had been charged with multiple misdemeanors and even a felony. Oh my God! Warn the town, the beast is loose. Now, Spears has seemingly been able to look past former staffers' legal issues, though, as they've been spotted together on numerous occasions. Well, look, as long as he ain't creating no misdemeanors on her. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see the picture, but it's like based off the mirror, they're showing basically her in the car. On the passenger side, because I don't think Britney drives. Look, as long as she's not performing any misdemeanors around the house and probably putting a misdemeanor on that pussy, I think that's all she care about. Because Britney loves sex. She told us that. Now Spears has been seen. Now what else they said? So excuse me. So it says, however, the relationship had been rocky. Now, in May of 2024, an ambulance was called to the Chateau Marmont after the couple allegedly had a dispute, and paparazzi captured the chaotic scene. An insider downplayed the incident to page 6 at the time, saying that Spears was back home and fine. The Oops, I Did It Again singer then declared that July that she was single as fuck. A month later, Spears had been seen hanging out with Soliz again and 3 of his children at a trampoline park. Yeah, we talked about that on the show. The licensed contractor, child, he been keeping them balls been busy. He got 9 kids. But they said that he has custody of 3 of his boys. Now, Soliz's ex-mother-in-law, Sandra Smith, has accused him of being a deadbeat who neglects his kids to be with Spears. But it don't sound like he's doing much neglecting. You need to burn them sweatpants. Them things is all dirty. But they probably are clean. But like men like to keep the same sweats and stuff. So yeah, there goes the kids, which they've been blurred out and good enough that they were. But if they're no longer, if he's a deadbeat, then how come he has custody of the children? You clearly see that he's out and about doing things. Hopefully, Britney's money is not being used to take them here, there, and everywhere and do things that, unless she wants to do that out of kindness of her heart. We all know, like, Britney always comes across as someone who will give somebody the shirt off her back. But like Wendy Williams, I do worry that in certain situations that you surround yourself with people who are here that are going to take advantage of you in a lot of situations. But look, y'all wanted Britney to be free. She's free. She's out of the conservatorship. She's an adult. She's in her 40s. She can do whatever the hell she wants. That's on her. So yeah, they said that Page exclusively reported that Soliz filed a restraining order against Smith after she allegedly attempted to kidnap his and ex Nicole Mancilla's 2-year-old daughter, Violet, when he went to pick up the children at his ex's home. In an interview with the Drew Lane show, Smith did not fully deny the claims that she had kept the baby girl because Soliz had allegedly never bonded with that little girl. Well, that's his child. It's not up to you to talk about whether or not somebody can and cannot bond with somebody. That's not up to you. That's the time when he should be bonding with his child, especially if she's 2. They call it terrible twos for a reason. It's like, that's the time you need to get all that stuff in. So who are you to determine what somebody should be doing because they ain't bond with the kid? Maybe that was the point where he wanted to bond, but that's not up to you to decide all of that. Now, Spears, for her part, as we all know, has 2 kids with Kevin Federline. And I do wonder if, because this is somebody who's going through a lot in his personal life with his ex and custody and kids and the fighting and the back and forth, that maybe the reason why Britney is with him is because there's a relatability there, that she relates to what he's going through in regards to all of this stuff. So I wonder if that plays into why she feels this connection with Paul, because he might be going through a similar situation. And the fact that, well, remember at one point she wanted to have more children. Her father had an IUD put up in her, which, and I feel like, I don't know, at her age, I don't know if she at a point where she could have children. I think like she would be at high risk, because the older you get, the more dangerous it becomes for women to have children, which is why there's always this emphasis on women having to put out babies when they're young versus when they're older. Men can just go off and make babies for the rest of their damn life, unfortunately. But women, I guess why you think you see these 80-year-olds like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino hunching 25-year-olds. Their eggs is potent. So I could definitely understand why Britney is getting with Paul. Maybe there's, like I said, some relatability there. But also, I just say be careful. Hopefully he's not going to take advantage of her and take her kindness for weakness, as so many other people do. When they're out here, when you're vulnerable or you're most vulnerable, they take advantage of a situation. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this latest news that Britney might be back together with the criminal, as they call them? Hopefully he can get all the drama with his kids and all the his baby mamas and all this other stuff situated. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Robert says, Gaga always had one lone ballad outside Joanna, Chromatica, the Fame, Brown Eyes, the Fame Monster, Speechless, Born This Way, You and I, Art Pop, and Dope, always the lone ballad. Exactly, trauma bonding. That's what it feels like. That, Britney is trauma bonding with this guy. That's not a good combination. I don't want to say I wish, because I don't necessarily know if she's doing this, but probably not. I really hope that she's getting therapy with a lot of what she's dealing with in her personal life. Okay, so we have 4 more topics. Well, actually, no, we have 3 more topics left, because I just forgot I moved the Prince thing down. So we technically have 3 more topics left. So before we get to said topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And yes, I'll be putting timestamps in between so that way you know where each topic is, in case y'all want to hear all the banter that we do in between the live stream once the live stream is over. So please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into a name I didn't think I'd speak up in a long time. Let's talk about Fonzworth Bentley out here being a klepto. So Fonzworth, who y'all remember, was known back in the day as Diddy's impeccably dressed assistant and the epitome of gentlemanly charm in the early 2000s, is facing some serious allegations from a former Bad Boy artist. And we've all been out here wondering where the hell, with all this stuff that's going on with Diddy, where the hell is Fonzworth, and don't even get me started on this mess that Kanye recently come out with, spewing more Nazism crap, and even talk about free Diddy. Do we need to start digging into you, Kanye? And maybe get your ass locked up? Because I'm sure there's a lot of problematic things you got buried that people want to expose you for. And shout out to Charlamagne, who said that even there's a lot of billionaires that are idiots, referring to, you know, Kanye. Because now he want attention because you got your, you know, your dumbass wife out here showing her titties on red carpets, thinking that's iconic and revolutionary. No, it's tired. We've seen it. You're late. I've seen better. I've seen nicer tits on a porn star. So let's get back to Farnsworth. I know I had to give Kanye that read because it kind of plays into the whole Diddy situation, but now we can get back to the story. So in an interview with the Art of Dialogue, Chopper Young City recalled his dealings with Bentley, who he met during his time as a member of the band. The group spawned from the second season of MTV's music competition series, Making the Band. Now, initially becoming fond of Bentley, Chopper later had a change of heart after his alleged discovery that the personal assistant had a propensity for swiping others' valuables. Now, he said, in the beginning, I thought Mr. Bentley was the coolest person in the world. I'm talking about the coolest person in the world. And eventually, Bentley started stealing. Now, Chopper went on to accuse Farnsworth of failing to return a piece of jewelry worth $70,000 he was given by the rapper under the belief that Farnsworth would safekeep the item. So yeah, remember for this whole situation, and child, not only was he spilling tea about Farnsworth, he was out here spilling tea on Sarah. This is what I was talking about the other day, that was out here saying that Sarah allegedly was lying in that documentary that they did on Diddy, the one that was on, not the one that was on HBO Max, not the ID channel one that was like 5 parts or 4 parts. The one that was the hour and a half one that was on Peacock, I think it was, saying that she would go and late, she would leave at like 3 a.m, hanging out with Diddy, come back, hair on the shovel, makeup a mess, and she was married with kids at the time, so she was out drinking and getting hunched by Diddy, and thought that she'd get some kind of something, some perks, some payday, whatever, and Diddy paid her dust, and that's why she's coming out with these accusations. This is according to him, and even said that she was hunching Genuine. That Genuine was going around asking, where's Sarah at? Where's Sarah's room at? And the way that Genuine allegedly got the information, he supplied Chopper with some pussy. And after he went and, got his rocks off, then he gave Genuine the information on where Sarah was being occupied. And he got up in there and got him some. So this is according to Chopper. So I just want to give you all a little bit of that backstory too. So he said, I asked him if he could hold my chain because we had a show, and he was like, yeah, I got you. And then he never quite gave me back my chain. And then every time I'd ask him, he'd always come up with buku excuses of why I can't get my chain. So the lyricist pointed to that encounter as the moment he lost all trust in Bentley, with his alleged thievery becoming well known within Combs's orbit. Say, ever since then, I knew right then and there what kind of dude Mr. Bentley was. This is what he said of the embattled mogul's former underling. He said, an effing thief. Mr. Bentley is an effing thief, period. And that was his reputation, too, around there. Everybody knew Mr. Bentley was a thief. He used to steal-ish. Now, Chopper said that he reasons that Bentley's theft of his chain and other items could possibly be attributed to financial troubles for being underpaid by Combs, who he says displayed a lack of respect for Farnsworth. Well, quiet as a scam, that goes without saying. Diddy didn't respect any damn body. He didn't respect his artist. He didn't respect his assistant. We see how Diddy runs out here in the streets and how he didn't never really want to pay no damn body, especially when it came to the royalties of the artist who was making the money they was making. So he said maybe he was stealing ish because Diddy probably wasn't compensating him, embarrassing the man on national TV and not really paying him what he needed to pay him. I don't think Diddy had no respect for Mr. Bentley, none. Well, like I said, I don't think it was just Mr. Bentley. I think it was just a lot of people. Now, Combs is currently, as we know, incarcerated, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about that. And yeah, now we got Kanye out here thirsty for attention because clearly his wife, who's given a cross between Amanda Lepore and Kim Kardashian, her being naked on a Grammys red carpet wasn't enough. So now he got to go out here and start spewing anti-Semitic stuff and basically talk about he gonna ask Trump to pardon Diddy. Well, don't he have to be convicted in order to be pardoned? He ain't go to trial yet. Now, the Bad Boys legal team has repeatedly requested that he receive bail. However, attempts to procure his release and have been denied and all the other stuff. So, if y'all definitely want to check out this episode of Top of Young City, talking about Fonzworth Bentley, definitely check out the Art of Dialogue interview. It's over on YouTube. It was definitely interesting and entertaining. And so, it's sad to hear, like, because we've all been wondering, like I said, where's Fonzworth been? Even with this whole thing about Diddy, a lot of people saying, where's Fonzworth? Why we haven't heard from him? He probably hiding for all that shit he done stole. So I was to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Chopper's saying, that basically Fonzworth out here being our thief? He our thief. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Shall let's get into this story. So now, Kim Kardashian laid ass is clapping back at Tony Hinchcliffe for calling her whore when she did the Tom Brady roast. Now, the only reason why it's late is because the new season of the Kardashians, a season of a show nobody asked for, premiered last night on Hulu. But I think based off of this story, this is in next week's episode. So I don't even think this episode is aired yet. I don't watch the Kardashians. I don't keep up with them. Quiet as it's kept. I don't think many people have kept up with them since they was over on E. But that's just me. So she basically said, how innovative, you called me a whore. This is what she said in a teaser for the Kardashians, apparently responding to Hinchcliffe's roast of Tom Brady, where he humorously noted that the reality star has had a lot of black men celebrating her end zone. Kim Kardashian doesn't appear to be very fond of comedians making jokes about her sex life, especially if the material is unoriginal. Well, girl, that's what you're known for. I don't understand how you talk about, well, look, I have Skims, I have this, I have that. But sis, you wouldn't have none of that if you didn't spread your legs for Ray J. And so there are going to be people out here that are going to remind you of that, regardless. Like, I don't care how many times you try to put yourself in the rooms with those elites. I don't care how many times you try to hang out with Ivanka and all these other rich bitches that's out here. You will always be the Kardashian whore from Calabasas, who basically brought her family to fame and infamy because you done fucked how many more black men than in the NBA and the NFL combined. So just own it, accept it, and move on. And you already know if you're going to come to a roast. I just don't understand people who do roasts, who become a part of a roast, and just completely act oblivious as to, like, oh, Jolly G, I didn't know they were going to go there with those jokes. It's a roast. Of course, they're going to go after what you're known for. They do it to everybody. Have you never seen a roast? It's funny. It's like, even when, you see shows like Drag Race, or when people make comments about roasts, but I'm like, have y'all not seen a roast? Do you not know what a roast entails? You really go there and you hit them with those stingers, but you don't go into the territory of just being really mean and vulgar. Although sometimes people go there. Nikki Glazer is a good one. Tony Hinchcliffe is all right. I mean, I worked his Kill Tony show when it came to The Garden, so I already knew what he gives. And look, this is the same man that called Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. So y'all surprised what he gives? And them fools still voted for his ass. And look what's happening. All y'all getting deported, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Let's stick to this. So now they said in a preview for next week's episodes of the Kardashians, the reality star seemingly reacted to the jokes Tony Hinchcliffe cracked about her during Tom Brady's Netflix roast. As the reporter at the Met Gala asked Kim how she was feeling after the day prior, When Brady's special aired, Kim admitted in a confessional, "I will never ever do a roast again." Please don't, because you just not that girl. Now the clip cut to Kim's pal Lala Anthony appearing to help her fit into her silver Maison Margiela corset gown in a van, with the actress calling Hinchcliffe's jokes so effed up. She said it's just like the easiest joke. They would have said it about anyone. Well, no, they didn't say it about anyone. They said it about you. And yeah, you feel like it's easy because, girl, you were easy when you were out here spreading your legs and doing whatever you could to become famous by any means necessary. That was your way in. And since then, you have continued to do that. You continue to go down that road, hunching whoever was popular at the moment that was going to keep you in the media, that was going to keep you in the news. So it kind of makes you want to do you or any of them Kardashians when y'all get with anybody? Do y'all actually love them? Or is it y'all fuck for an opportunity and a headline from the tabloids? So that's what we all wonder, because it all feels like it's very much, everything is very orchestrated, which is why a lot of people are making these comments about Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet. It's like, now because Timothy Chalamet is literally before our eyes becoming, is he I think he is a Gen Zer. The Gen Z's equivalent of Daniel Day-Lewis. Now you have this family trying to poach on him. Y'all better not suck that boy's soul out like y'all did all them other black men, like a scene out of Get Out. Had all their spirits sinking into the damn floor. You better not do Timothy Chalamet like that. The little boy got way too much talent. He's not a little boy. He looked like a little boy. But you know what I'm saying. So they said in a confessional, the Skims founder added, "Am I supposed to sit there and be like, how innovative? You called me a whore." No, I'm supposed to just sit there and either laugh or don't. Because that's what a roast is. Everybody gets got. It wasn't just going to be Tom Brady up there. Even at one point, it was like, oh, they went a stench too far. But I'm like, because he had said something about somebody that I guess Tom respects. But I'm like, it's a roast. You don't know what a roast is? They're going to read you down to the floor. So if you're not ready for a roast, your ass shouldn't have been there. And then let's also not forget how people booed her when she got up there. Because they were like, why is she here? Like, people didn't even want Kim up there doing no damn roles. Like, she's not that girl. You know, she's going to get up there on her vocal fry and try to tell jokes. That's like listening to them broads over there in Canada's Drag Race with that annoying ass accents they got, trying to read somebody. And then all you hear is crickets. So it said during the Netflix special was dropped in May, Hinchcliffe cracked not safe for work jokes about Kim, comparing her to a whale's vagina, before noting that she was in attendance, saying that she's had a lot of black men celebrating her end zone. Kim, word of advice, close your legs. You have more public beef than Kendrick and Drake. Okay, that's gross. But then it's like the special cut to Kim in the audience, with Kim, the Skims founder, nodding her head and smiling as she reacted. Probably because she was like, oh, it's in poor taste. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, there goes the face. And he's like, now, don't go there. Well, he did. And they said when Kim later took the stage, she was loudly booed, a moment Netflix later edited out. But the reality star took the moment in stride, poking fun of the 2023 dating rumors surrounding her and Brady. Say, I wasn't going to come tonight, but since I'm not here as Tom's date, there's still a good chance I might. Then she referenced her infamous, I should say, 2007 sex tape with Ray J, saying, "Speaking of Tom and I dating, I know there were some rumors that we were, and I'd never say it if we did or not. I just released the tape." And you probably make so much money off of it. But then again, I was like, was she letting any white dick go near her? Yeah, if his name was Pete Davidson, because we seen that chair. So let me stop hitting Kim with all them strays. I'm just like, girl, how did you not know what kind of lines then you were walking in when you did this roast? But whatever, girl. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Kim using this opportunity as a way to have a storyline on that tight-ass reality show? I don't know. One person is still watching. So whatever y'all think, whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, Robert says, I think Kylie Jenner got pregnant for publicity and ratings. Her kids not on social media. It's probably a good thing that her kids aren't on social media. You don't want to do them like you got Dream Kardashian and the rest of them, where they out here literally starting whole little things with them. What they got their own Instagram, they're posting things. They got them out here doing all kinds of performances and things. And now you got Kim acting as Northwest momager. So now she's taking on the Pimp Mama Chris role with Northwest. You think she got talent, she don't, but we ain't gonna speak ill of the children. Gonna leave the children alone. But if y'all put something out here and it sounds like crap, we gonna read it or praise it if it's good. All right, so since we already on the Kardashian bandwagon, let's talk about Brucella Jenner and the fact that this heifer out here praising Donald Trump for signing an executive order banning trans athletes from women's sports, which I don't understand. Why is this a big deal that people are focusing on that when trans athletes, you want to know how many in total that are trans people that are doing any kind of athletic sports, and this is their main focus? They're making it seem like it's like 100,000 or maybe 1,000,000. No, 5. Literally, you can count on one hand how many trans people are out here actually in doing athletic sports and things of that nature. This is what we're focusing on. While we have this moron in chief literally dismantling, taking a full-fledged wrecking ball to our democracy and our government in a matter of 2 weeks. Over 100 years of work that they've put into turning America into what it is today, dismantled in 2 weeks. All because of him and apartheid Clyde. Letting them just try to figure out, how to destroy everything out here. And we got this man-looking bitch. Yeah, I'm going to read her down to the floor. And those people who have a problem with me misgendering this bitch, y'all can go and suck my ass. Kindly fuck off. Because here's the thing. I don't give people who have it out for their own community and try to throw their own people under the bus for a moment in the spotlight or maybe a couple of coins or some type of acceptance because they're a masochist in some sort of way. I'm not gendering you correctly. You getting exactly the drag that your ass deserves. And what pisses me off in regards to this, I hear people who go and say, well, if you misgender Caitlyn, then that gives other people permission to misgender. When have ignorant people ever needed permission to not be a bigot? I'll wait. When have somebody who don't like black people ever felt the need to not call somebody the N-word? When have people who are homophobic or transphobic ever needed a reason to misgender someone or call them Ron's McGranny? Nancy Mace's ugly ass recently was out here doing that in Congress and was called out over it. And they made excuses for it. So if a bigot is going to bigot, excuse me, they don't need permission from us to say what they're going to say. They're going to say it regardless. So stop with all that pompous bullshit when they come out and say that. So basically, the ban is designed, for those who have not been keeping up, is designed to keep men out of women's sports, with Trump signing the order on Wednesday to coincide with National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and had the absolute nerve, and this is why shame on y'all, had him surrounded by children while he was signing the thing, and then held it up like he reading My Pet Goat. Oh wait, no, that was George W. Bush, but he was reading something. But like he's reading a children's book to the class and holding it up after he was reading, finished reading the page. So the executive order is the latest in a litany of anti-trans policies invoked by Trump, which includes declaring that the U.S. will only recognize 2 sexes, banning trans people from serving in the military, and restricting gender-affirming health care for trans people under 19, which we showed the other day that Cynthia Nixon was out there protesting in New York because there were 2 youths that were going to get a hormone blocking implant put in their body, and their appointments were canceled. And the doctor was saying, well, maybe I should try other places like in Pennsylvania or somewhere else because they're not doing it. But then we had Letitia James, shout out to her, because she was there every day during Trump's trial in New York, his felony trials, which he was convicted of, by the way, but still allowed to run for fucking president and win. I do not understand our government in regards to that and our laws. It kind of makes it seem like the court of law is a joke. Because if you have a couple of millions of dollars, you too can get away with any kind of crime. Over 84 counts, I guess. So when you're saying two sexes, did you forget that there's people out here who are intersex? You know, there's other things. There's non-binary. You're only going by, oh yeah, it's just male and female. Who are you to determine what someone's gender is? And basically, I don't understand how Caitlyn is jumping on this thing because they don't even see your ass as human. But I guess because you too have a lot of money and you, Drusilla, have benefited from being an athlete as a man, and that as you transition looking like a busted version of Jessica Lange, you look like a cross between Mrs. Doubtfire and J.K. Rowling. Now all of a sudden, you anti, you know, anybody else trying to get a leg up because you weren't allowed to be your true self when you were coming up as an athlete. So you mad. That's what this gives. This gives that you are pissed because during your day, you were not allowed to live your authentic truth, live in your truth, live in your authentic self as an athlete. So you don't want anybody else to have that. And that's what a lot of this gives, not just from you, but from a lot of people. They want to dismantle everything. Because this is what this administration is doing. You want to dismantle everything and tell them, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But if there's nothing there to pull yourself up from, how the fuck are people going to pull themselves up by a bootstrap? So that just doesn't, that mentality doesn't make sense. And you know me, I'm a critical thinker. So you see through the bullshit. And I see through all the mess. A lot of people are so blinded by their phobias or whatever the case is, they don't see what's happening in front of them until it's too late. Which is why I was cackling when you had them Arabs for Trump, because it was about, oh, Kamala Harris, this and that and the other. And don't get me wrong, I read the Democrats on their whole Zionism and what they were doing over in Gaza, but you don't think Trump is going to be 10 times worse? And now they're feeling it. And now they're upset. I'm like, you voted. That's who you chose. Deal with the consequences. I don't feel no ways tied. So now y'all want sympathy and empathy. I just cackle when people are just like the gluttons for punishment, the fuck around and find out types. And this is what y'all giving. So I think I'm kind of done with my reading. You want to talk about reading? Let's talk about reading. So this bitch went over on Twitter and wrote the following. She said, wait, hold on, because I was like, let me, do we care enough to go to it? No, I'll just read it. Another victory in the fight for protecting women's sports. President Trump signs an executive order keeping biological men out of women's sports. As an Olympian, I will continue to fight this issue, lobbying sport governing body all over the world to follow our lead. Well, why can't you just focus on what's going on here? Why are you trying to tell other people in other countries? Oh, I forgot. That's what colonizers do. You know, we have a habit of asserting ourselves in things around in other nations that have nothing to do with us. I forgot. This is what we do. So the people got in the comments and read her down to the floor. I mean, she did get a lot of support, but of course she got shade. And we got to read the shade. But hold on, let me go to this other, busted picture. Child, why she giving linebacker tees with that top on? You literally giving me Mrs. Doubtfire right now. Hello! Now they said, Trump has pretty much said that you are not real, that you are a demented pervert and don't exist. Yet you continue to support him. As for trans athletes, 5 out of 500,000 NCAA athletes are trans. Didn't I tell y'all it was 5 people? And I didn't read this article. That's because I actually pay attention to what's going on. They said literally it was 5 people who are trans that are in sports. This is what they're focusing on, though. 5 fucking people out of the amount of people that's being athletes in sports. Y'all writing a bill for 5 people? This is what we getting worked up over? When there's way more bigger fish to fry? This country is literally about to be burned to ash, but y'all worrying about trans people partaking in sports. This is your concern. Okay. This goes to show where a lot of y'all priorities are. Now, another person wrote, so by Trump banning trans athletes from participating in the Olympics, maybe you should surrender your Olympic medals. How do you feel about that now? Well, she got the medals as Bruce. So she ain't giving those up. She was like, technically, I was the other gender. The gender I didn't feel like I was comfortable as. But now that I'm a full-fledged woman, a phenomenal woman is me, I'm going to keep my medals. But, bitch, it says Bruce on them. It don't say Caitlyn. So you constantly reminded of who you were when you look at the medals, if you got them hanging around your house in Calabasas. Now, a third person made a meme using a picture of Jenner with the text over the top, encouraging people to tell Jenner that turning their back on the community is not going to get her accepted in the far-right Republican community. And this is what I said. That self-hate is one mother father. That self-hate that y'all be feeling, where y'all just literally will throw yourselves into the wolves just so y'all can get that acceptance. Her big ass head ass having Vivek and all of them types, them pick me tap dancing heifers that will sit up there and tap dance for that approval. They don't like you. They barely tolerating you. It's all an act. But this is what they want. I can't stand being around fake ass people. Like, I could care less of people like me. A fourth criticized how Jenner has spent years licking the boots of a party that doesn't care about her as a trans woman. They said to them, she's just another man in a dress. Did not say she looked like Miss Doubtfire. Maybe now she'll realize that cozying up to conservatives doesn't buy her a seat at the table. It just gets her kicked out of their restroom. Well, if she hobnobbing with Nancy Mace, which I have a feeling that when she was up in there in the situation, they probably didn't kick her out of the bathroom. They probably let her use whatever bathroom she wanted to use because Jenner's one of them. And this doesn't affect her. She gets to sit on her millions. While trans people who aren't afforded the ability and the opportunities that she has to suffer because they can't be themselves because we have a government that wants to interfere with people's personal business and personal affairs. So this isn't the first time she's been hauled over the coals for her support of the divisive president. In January, she declared that she was just as happy, actually more happy than the first time, to be celebrating the inauguration of President Trump, which we talked about on the show, and I read her down to the floor then. The video is up on the YouTube. You can go and watch it if you want another cackle. Her post was mocked by those who couldn't believe she supported a man who, as one person put it, literally announced that you don't exist. One person wrote on social media, "Were you in the front row for that? I don't understand how you can support an office that is trying to re-alienate you from society." Another asked, "He just publicly said you were not accepted. How do you feel about him now?" She don't care. I told her this is not going to affect her because Caitlyn gets to go back to her lovely home in the hills and live her best life with all that glass and on her millions. And is not going to be affected by a lot of the laws because, she could probably fly over to wherever to get her moans and get whatever she need to keep up appearance. And she still look a mess. She still look like a damn linebacker in a dress and a wig. So you can go over there and get your stuff to keep trying to prettify that mess that we looking at, looking like a damn She-Hulk, and that's, I guess, what it is. So I say all this to say, because I'm done reading this bitch down to the floor, but I'm sure there's going to be another story coming up. I'm going to drag her again. And I'm happy to do it because I can't stand that hoe. So what do you guys think of this story about Caitlyn pick-me ass jumping on this whole anti-trans bandwagon continuously? Maybe she'll go out to lunch with J.K. Rowling. Let's see how, jaw to jaw, how they cohabitate. Oh, I should say strong jaw to strong jaw. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So I got some people up in the comments. Let's see what they say. Robert says Caitlyn enjoyed getting Woman of the Year. Well, and they should have put Woman of the Year ? After that. Because you was giving woman, all right. You was giving man in that picture. So Caitlyn enjoyed getting Woman of the Year and other stuff when it wasn't a huge political issue. Because 10 years ago, she was being praised. And here's the thing that I hate about a lot of these magazines or whatever. They're so quick to just give this shit to people that do the bare minimum for the trans community. Y'all so quick to want to give something out to a white bitch like her because she comes as a package of a big name when there's so many other people out here who deserve that reward. T.S. Madison has done way more for the trans community than that bitch ever will. Laverne Cox has done way more for the trans community than that bitch ever will. Hope Giselle has done way more for the community than that bitch ever will. MJ Rodriguez has done way more for the trans community than that bitch ever will. So, hell, even Dylan Mulvaney has done more for the trans community than that bitch ever will. Yet and still, y'all want to give it to her because she was sucking on Pimp Mama Chris baby titties for, when she had all them kids with her. So now it came off as God forbid 2 years they couldn't be lifestyles of the rich and famous. And then I saw some video too, some article where they were talking about Kris Jenner was talking about her relationship with the Menendez brothers. I was like, I don't give a damn about her and them. Anything they got to do with people and killers. It's like, girl, you was already attached with O.J. Simpson. Now you want to talk about the Menendez brothers? He's trying to stop. And I saw that anti-HIV treatments and drugs and stuff. And this scares me because I know people that I'm close with that rely on their HIV meds, and he's holding things off in ports. And it's just a scary time right now where he's literally putting millions of lives at risk on all fronts, not just with HIV, but just a lot of things going on. It's just, I told you, he's making a lot of enemies, and he's not going to be long for this earth. So y'all wanted them to impeach and take him out. He gonna take himself out with all of these enemies that he's creating because he's fucking with a lot of people's money. I try to be happy for her when she first transitioned, but seeing how stupid she is supporting Trump, who doesn't see her as a human being, she could be dragged right out of the country and I'd be okay. Okay. Wait, did Sailor Mermaid say something earlier? Because you said when it happens. State Attorney General sued to prevent Doge access to payment systems. Yeah, because I see like he's trying to, and then they fired some kid that was a part of Elon's Doge situation because he made some racial stuff. And then I was hearing that Elon and the one with all the damn makeup on the eyeliner, JD Vance, were trying to get him reinstated. I was like, oh Lord, here we go with this foolishness. When is Caitlyn gonna see that Trump? Trump, she's not. I told her she don't care. She making her money. She's a grifter, and it's sad. The self-hate. Oh yeah, I heard about this, and I'm glad that happened. Target stocks plummeted after canceling DEI initiatives, losing $15 billion so far, and that's good for them. And shout out to Costco. I was like, if I thought about it, I would really go and get a job at Costco because bitch, they're paying $30 an hour. So I was like, oh, maybe I need some extra coins. I'll go work at Costco. Fuck a Target. And plus, but here's the thing. The other day, I actually went into Target because it was like close to where I was. Because I was out in Harlem the other day. I spent like a week out there. And I went into the Target, and I actually went to the one on in Chelsea because I was like, fuck, I need some skin cream because I had finished all my cocoa butter, and my hands was like, I was like, this weather is messing with my skin, and I can't be out here ashy. So I went up in there. I was like, I immediately walked out when I went down to the lower level because I was like, y'all got everything in here locked up. I watched somebody press the button to call one girl over, chewing her gum all like a cow. And it looked like she didn't want to be bothered. I said, okay, I'm not dealing with this shit today. Excuse me. I'm not dealing with attitudes. I'm not dealing with this. Y'all want to lock everything up like this is fucking jail. And so I'm like, I'd rather just go on Amazon and just keep ordering my stuff. I'm ordering my toothpaste, all the other stuff. I know people feel a way about Jeff Bezos, but look, the only way I'm getting my stuff is I'm just going to have it delivered because I'm just sick and tired of having to spend money and go into a store and I got to literally, in each aisle, I got to press a button, wait for somebody to show up, and then I got to feel rushed because it's like I got to grab everything real quick because you got things to do apparently. And I don't want to hear your breathing heavy because then I got to cuss you out. Excuse me. In my Santino voice, when he said Tyra Sanchez book, The Woman, there's been rumors going around. Yeah, we remember hearing that. that situation. Oh, maybe they did delete their comment. You probably said something hateful in the comments, and it was like, we can't have this up in here. Ooh, child. Okay, so. All right, y'all. We at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm thinking I might actually come on Sunday because I was telling y'all earlier, if y'all just came in late, that there was a video that actually came out. Bo DeMayo posted a 30-minute video that he took from his OnlyFans, and he posted something or another. It was about what had went down behind the scenes at Disney and Marvel and all the stuff that he was dealing with, a problematic producer who was basically harassing him and did some inappropriate stuff where he showed his underage son his shirtless thirst traps, and they were making comments and all the other stuff. So I was like, I may come on Sunday because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I might do that video where it's like it's a 30-minute video. We'll play it, we'll break it down, and if there's some other tea that comes out in the next 2 days, we'll talk about that. So I might do a show on Sunday in regards to that. But so don't quote me. But yeah, so Bo DeMayo did put that up where he was talking about it. I think it came out like since we've been on the air, probably like 5-6 hours ago. And so I saw that is out. So I was like, okay, I might want to come on and do that. But anyway, love you all for watching. See you, Cleveland. Thank you all for being in the comments. Also, if you can, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filtered. Child, we have 30 minutes in the drag race. So I got to, well, it's recording. So by the time the episode is over, I'll just go on Philo and watch it. So I don't like watching stuff with commercial stuff. So I'm going to watch it later. But I know Drag Race is on right now. So happy Friday. Love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.